This week on the Steam Machine podcast.
My name's Daphne. This is the Steamy Awards.
Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always, the Destructo.
Hey everybody, it's Nate.
What's up? It's Willie. Happy 2024.
Hell yeah.
Is this our first episode of this year?
It is.
It must be because Duke was the last episode of last year.
Oh yeah. All right. Well then, yeah, man, we are back kicking off the year as we typically do with the Steamy Awards. And man, I'm hyped. I've been looking forward to this for 2 fucking weeks.
It's my favorite episode of the year.
It's so fun, and you guys are going to get to deal with my really bright face because Notepad is just overwhelmingly bright on this side screen. But that doesn't affect the actual audio, so it's all good. But before we get into any of that, boys, how you doing? How you doing? Willie, how you doing?
Man, I've been kind of oversleeping a little bit. I've been rough. I'm just having that whole winter thing going on. I haven't quite dug out of the last winter bit of depression before getting into a new one. So, you know, I had like an injury and I was laid up with that. And then we had fun for Christmas and I just started falling apart again. But just, you know, keep on kicking.
I know that feeling, homeboy. I know that feeling.
I got an Albatross in NES Open Golf for the first time ever yesterday.
That's sick.
Dude, I'm impressed by that because those old golf games, fucking hard, man.
Yeah, in that particular one, it was on I think it was just the very second hole of the game, and you have to hit like a perfect full speed driver drive to get it most of the way there. And I just got really lucky with the backspin, putting the ball like right over the point, and then it rolled a little bit backwards into the hole. And I screamed.
Yeah, dude, I love those NES golf games. They are hard as hell, but like they make sense and they're fun.
On Retro Achievements, that hole is difficult enough that there's an achievement just for getting on the green in 2 shots. So the fact that I got my Albatross on that one makes me feel real good.
That's awesome.
So, random, but my first experience with golf games was one came with my PlayStation. And it was a Tiger Woods PGA 97 or something like that, right? And that game made me hate golf games because it wasn't intuitive, it was hard, it was for adults, right?
Yeah.
So I did not fuck with a golf game for a long time, till me and my dad have the PlayStation 2, and I rent a game, and he's like, you know, I'm gonna rent a game too. He rented Hot Shots Golf. And
you've been playing the Everybody's Golf series since then. I know that.
That was like, okay, this is what golf games should be to me. Like, it does not take itself too seriously. The character Mel is absolutely hilarious, and when he would just randomly yell, cream cheese, it was fantastic, right? It was so ridiculous and random. Then we get it on PS3, and one of the special characters you can play with is fucking Kratos, and his golf clubs are attached to his arms with chains. Like, it's so
that
cool.
rules.
Yeah, it was great, dude. And then my dad really got into Everybody's Golf on PS4, like to the point that he joined a little club and he would get online and I showed him how to use a keyboard and get on voice chat, and he would play golf with these people from around the world. It was incredible to see. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Awesome.
I'm like,
real gamer shit.
Yeah. I was like, and all that time that you used to tell me I was wasting time playing Final Fantasy 11, here you are doing the golf equivalent, sir.
How many times did you hear him call his friends on the internet racial slurs?
Never, actually. I will say that community, from everything that I would see like in the chats and stuff with other people, that community was relatively tame. You could crouch and stand up really quickly and it would make a squeaky noise, and people would do that over and over and over.
Nice.
But my dad and his friends were very much into figuring out glitches on how to get to outside parts of the map and things like that. Where it was I used to enjoy listening to his stories. He would be so happy talking to me about it. You know what I mean? And it was kind of a bummer when like everybody quit playing because they were shutting the servers down.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
wonder if that's kind of a universal thing, because I watched a Monster Factory video where they did one of the Everybody's Golf games, and Griffin just kept wanting to shoot the ball off of the course, see if he could get it into another hole, see if he could, like, in the walk-around sections, like, go places he's not supposed to go. Like, he spent more time doing that than actually trying to golf.
And
Or, of course, trying to just kill spectators.
I remember him asking me to show him how to buy DLC, because in order to get to some of these places that he needed to go, he needed this specific mount or cart that they sold. And I go on there and I'm like, what? It's a fucking chocobo. He needed a chocobo because they could glide. And
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, dude, $4.99? Absolutely. You get that. Fuck yeah. I was like, dude, that's fantastic. But yeah, that's just golf games. Made me think of
Golf games.
You know, childhood shit.
Yeah. That is, yeah. Me and Nate had a childhood golf game, too, because our grandpa ended up playing a lot of this game called Bandai Golf Challenge Pebble Beach with us. It was like pretty much the only Nintendo game he played, because he was a pretty big-time golfer, and Pebble Beach is like a really renowned course, and the game was like a recreation of that course. So we ended up having a lot of fun playing that. It only has the one course on it, but the music still gets stuck in my head to this day.
I just had an idea. And then we can move on from golf if you would like, but... You know how WWE does really weird spin-off games sometimes, like Crush Hour?
I think I see where you're going with this, and I'm very on board.
Dude, take like a golf game that doesn't take itself seriously like everybody's golf. Make it with wrestlers. So you can go out there and, you know, like the guys that are the top of the tournament are like Roman Reigns is the head of the table, or, you know, whatever. And then you got like The Rock. But to Undertaker,
I feel like the winning play there would be to stack it with legends too, like a half legend cast.
Oh yeah, Andre, Hogan.
Yeah,
Savage,
they wanted to bring in like people that
Savage.
don't watch wrestling anymore, casual fans, because they would be interested in trying that.
You get a perfect hit with Randy Savage. He just goes, "Oh yeah!" When he gets a hole in one, he just like puts his sunglasses on. The cream always rises to the top. Yeah, dude. See, trademark Steam Machine Podcast, WWE. Get at me.
We just trademarked the concept of golf. Get over it.
Yeah. Golf with wrestlers that we don't contract, but fuck it.
Golf with
Hey,
your
they're
wrestlers.
independent contractors. Golf with your wrestlers.
Slam. No, I guess Slam City Golf wouldn't get it credit. I don't know. They'd have to WWE brand it somehow. Maybe just golf with your wrestlers would be fine. Or, excuse me, golf with your superstars.
They would probably just call it Superstar Golf, yeah. WWE Superstar Golf.
And then Mario would be like, what the fuck? What about you, Nate? What you been up to, bud?
Yeah, man, it's been a good start to the year. Started a new job. So far, so good. Like I've said a few times, I don't want to start saying how much I like a job before I've been there for a long time. But everything's going super well so far, and I'm very happy. Got a few things planned for this month. Going to New York this weekend to go see a play on Broadway. And then at the beginning of next month, my company is taking me to Disney World. So I'll be in your neck of the woods, Dalton.
Fuck yeah.
So I got a lot going on next few weeks, and I'm excited about it.
I like to say it's a play on Broadway. Like, it's not one of like the most popular musicals of the last like 20 years.
Yeah. So the thing about it is we're gonna go see Sweeney Todd on Broadway.
Oh hell yeah!
And the lead actor is Josh Groban, which is Kayla's main man. I'm the side piece. That's her main man. So it's a really excited time to go see that. And it's a second to last show doing it. So it's like, now or never, we gotta go. So we're going to New York City in freaking January.
It looks like he's gonna get there right before the polar vortex gets all fucky. So
yeah, so fingers crossed everything goes good and we don't get sucked out of a hole in the side of an airplane.
Have you been to New York City?
I've never been, no.
Oh wow.
Oh, dude. Okay, so
I don't really have time to do anything while I'm there because it is just a one-day trip. Yeah.
Right? So that general area, I think, is near Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to go to Times Square. All I want to convey to you is it blew my mind how bright it was there at night.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll see that. Yeah.
Yeah. It just, you're gonna walk outside and be like, oh, it's 11:30. We're getting out of the show. It looks like 6 p.m. out here because of how many fucking lights there are.
Yeah.
Like Camarocho ain't got shit on downtown New York.
Yeah, I'm sure I will have a lot to say on that matter on the next episode.
I'm excited. I actually didn't realize you'd never been to New York because out of the three of us, you're the biggest traveler, I think. Been out of country.
Dalton's our New York boy.
Dalton has been to New York.
My only other recommend is if you can, at some point between traveling to and from where you're going, sneak a slice of pie in there.
That's what I've asked him to do too. Yeah.
Dude, get it to a cheese or a pepperoni, whatever you like.
But depending on this trip goes, I could see us doing that more often, just to kind of go see actual Broadway plays on Broadway, because that's theater is one of Kayla's favorite things. So if we can make that a more regular part of our lives, it'd be great. Because we went to Boston last year, well, I guess the year before last, because it was like in December of 2022 to see Six at their theater in Boston. We went to Cincinnati to see, what did we see in Cincinnati? Oh, what did we see there?
Hamilton?
Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge, yeah, Moulin Rouge. And thank you. I'm surprised you've remembered that. So
I pay attention to you.
You do. So, going to see more plays and stuff is definitely kind of something we want to do more in this year. So, I'm making money again, so we have the means to do it. So let's do it while we can, baby.
Hell yeah. Needs a good Tableau data boy again.
Yes, I am. But what about you, Dalton? What have you been up to, brother?
What have I been up to, brother? Man, I've been working my ass off.
Yeah.
I'm still not used to waking up early. And what's weird is when I have to be at work at 6 a.m., way easier than having to be there at 5 a.m.
I believe that.
I don't know what that difference of the hour, but it makes a fucking difference.
I know when I was in college, the difference between an 8 a.m. class and a 9 a.m. class was incredibly huge.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here trying to get readjusted to getting up and being at this same desk that I'm sitting at right now about 8 a.m. every morning.
I learned that they're not sticklers for me being there at exactly 5. So if I got to be there at 5 a.m., I wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I get up and I quickly roll me a little pinner, smoke that, go do my business, make my sandwich for the day for lunch or whatever. If I'm not going to go have Whataburger, because we're talking about Whataburger in chat and making sure there's not Whataburger. And then I go and I leave. Probably in my house. I probably leave my house at 4:45.
Nice.
4:40. And depending on when I have to get there at 5, I have to be at Walmart. When I have to go to Publix, it's 6. But when I have to go to the Walmarts, I typically get there at 5:15, 5:20.
Yeah.
And it's I still end up working for 9 hours, so they don't really say anything to me because they know I have a long ass drive. It's if I lived 5 minutes away from Walmart and I was getting there at 5:20, I would be like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But that long ass drive, dude, if I get stuck behind somebody who's doing under the speed limit, I just chalk it up to what the fuck ever. I'm not going to go around you to get to work faster.
Oh, speaking of Publix, by the way, apparently they just opened one up in Louisville. So, Willie, you've got a Publix now.
Oh, looking forward to that.
I can't believe they moved that far up north, man.
Yeah, we're getting some places that we didn't used to have before. We're getting Wawa.
Oh, you're getting a Wawa?
Yeah.
All right. I went really high pitched when I said that. The Buc-ee's that was supposed to come here pulled their contract, so we're not getting a Buc-ee's now.
Oh, I need to check. There was going to be a Buc-ee's here, too. I need to look into that.
The weird thing, okay, so this is a complete side tangent. So, the place Buc-ee's bought in Clarksville, they were going to turn into a Buc-ee's, was originally a bar with a lot of parking and land around it. So they were just buying that whole lot and things from them. They pulled out of the deal, right? The next week, a tornado comes through and destroys the bar, everything that was there. It was just did Buc-ee's cause this tornado?
That horrible beaver knew it was coming. He sent their wrath upon him.
I bet he's related to Winona.
It's a Primus joke. We like it.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm glad I know 3 things about Primus, and that's one of them.
So I didn't never know that Primus's whole thing was Primus sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking about how much I liked Primus to this one dude, and he just goes, Primus sucks. And I was like, what? Dude, Les Claypool's so good. What are you talking? And he was like, no, bro. And then he had to explain that to me. And I was like, okay. I was like, because I was just taken aback by the Les Claypool hate. I'm like, I've never heard anybody say he sucks ever.
Right.
Meanwhile, when we say Lars Ulrich sucks, we mean it.
Yeah. And when I say Metallica sucks, I mean it with both love and hate.
I just really felt like if I just made my drums sound like a trash can lid, that it would be like super experimental and cool, you know what I mean? And James didn't like it, and I told him, fuck you, James.
I haven't seen Some Kind of Monster, and I'm almost kind of glad for it, because I understand it makes it really hard to take them seriously, like, as artists and people and hard rockers.
I still laugh every time I watch Botchamania and they go to do a table spot. I inevitably hear James Hetfield, I am the table.
Oh, good shit, man.
That's a classic. They've been doing that one since the very early days.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the other things I've been up to other than work, I accidentally rolled credits on Mountain Blade Bannerlord.
Nice.
Wow. That's a lot of game. Good work.
So...
Did you mount all the blades?
So I was playing through with cheats, right? Just fooling around with it. And now I actually want to do a legitimate game in it now that I know the ins and outs of it. But I'm sitting there and I'm playing through what I assumed was the storyline, and I get to a certain point, and I guess because I was using cheats, it was way easier than it was supposed to be. Because then all of a sudden I just realized I'm at war with everyone. So I just started going into battles, having a good old time. You guys saw some of the pictures of the remnants. Although one homeboy that ate all those spears was before I got the trainer working for it, because it was after an update. So I think that was just a glitch after the update. But that was hilarious. Like, and
that dude looked like he was half porcupine.
Yeah, this guy, listeners, had probably 50 arrows and like 20 spears sticking out of him. He looked ridiculous, but he survived. But yeah, so I ended up capturing, I guess, some really high up leaders for every single fucking, like, to the point that I had like 60 prisoners and they were all named NPCs.
Nice.
And all of a sudden the game was like, hey, you no longer have any warring factions against you. You control it all. You have united the Empire. Congratulations, you won Bannerlord. You are the Bannerlord.
You are the Bannerlord.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually is what it says. Nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and then game rolled credits, and it came back.
I can't believe there was such a huge spoiler in the title.
And I was like, well, damn. So I had a good time, but I rolled credits on that, so that pulled me at -1 in the golf that's going on in the Discord.
So you're counting beating the whole game through with cheats on as
I would count it for that game.
You know what? Yeah, that's valid, actually.
And then I rolled.
I wouldn't
credits.
count IDDQDing your way through Doom as counting, but I would count that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bannerlord. I just wanted to experience that game.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
Sure.
I wasn't worried about the skill in it. Especially because it starts getting really into tactical stuff, and I liked going in and swinging my sword and making people go shloop with the dismemberment mod.
Nice.
That's nice.
Speaking of the backlog golf, that was a really cool thing that I think Adam the one that kind of brought that one to us. I think this is a really cool game. Willie, you should probably get on it too if you want to. But
I need to look into it and check out some of the rules.
So like right now, I'm +1 on it because I decided to buy Assassin's Creed. I'm enjoying that. I've only played it for 2 hours because, like, honestly, I've not been playing video games very much since I started my job. But, like, I'm really enjoying it. Like, I can see where this is going to go to become, like, a really cool, fun series the deeper you get into it. Like, because, like you said, Dalton, this is kind of more like a
proof of concept
for the series. And I can see what you mean when you say that. But, like, I think the gameplay, like, the thing that amazes me about the Assassin's Creed game, it came out 2 years earlier than, but plays and looks 30 times better than Yakuza 3.
Yeah, and I wonder if, in part, if that's because it was developed by Ubisoft, which they had more money.
That's a possibility.
And, you know what I mean? Things like that, as opposed to RGG Studio back then.
They were not a Sega franchise or flagship franchise.
That's a really good point.
But at the same time, I can even think about it in my memory and remember that Assassin's Creed looked and played smoother than Yakuza 3 did, and that was a remaster of it.
I'm really, like, it's not perfect by any means, but I'm really surprised at how well it plays. Like, feels so good, like running up a wall and getting on top of the building in this town. It just feels really good.
The parkour only gets better too.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, because that's like honestly my favorite part about it, because it reminds me of just like being able to run up the side of the wall as like what's his name, Raiden from Metal Gear Revengeance. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I'm sorry I took away from you there.
No, you're fine, man.
No, I think bringing it to Backlog Golf was a cool idea. So if we didn't give the exact idea of it, because I started looking at the channel to make sure you were right about being Adam, and I missed that you were talking about Assassin's Creed for a minute. But so the concept of the game, the Backlog Golf game, is just anytime you buy a game this year, you gain a stroke, and anytime you finish a game that you own, you lose one. I don't know the exact rules, like if there are some weird rules about bundles, DLCs, and I'll have to ask about emulators, because I'm like 2 levels away from beating an emulated game, for instance.
I also wonder what like gifts do. Does that count as a stroke? Like if I bought Dalton a game?
I think he specifically said that gifts don't count.
Okay.
If someone buys you the game, it doesn't count.
I couldn't remember. See, I don't know all the rules, but I'm playing.
Yeah, and
I do not intend to win this. I fully anticipate that I'm going to end up with a plus double-digit score by the end of the year.
Yeah, my biggest expectation is for you to absolutely get sunk by the summer sale.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen to a lot of people, and you're going to be one of them.
That's fair.
I did not expect myself to be at -2 already.
Right?
That is crazy.
But I did roll credits on the first Nexamon as well.
I did. I saw that. I know you've been looking forward to playing it, so I'm glad you kind of just made that time for yourself to go through it.
Yeah. And when I picked save back up, I was 13 hours into it. I rolled credits on it. Let me see what I'm at now. My eyes will focus. There we go.
So Nexamon's like a pretty straightforward Pokemon clone, but with like more of a sense of humor to it, right?
Oh, it's fucking so funny. Oh my god, that game. There were multiple times that I laughed out loud sitting here by myself.
Yeah.
You sent us some pretty funny screen caps. So,
and I made an emote for the Discord based on one of the characters.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I really like it too. You did a really good Atlas emote. I like that one a lot. Yeah, it's a good
Atlas
face.
Awesome. I love
also,
that character
Nate,
so much.
This is such a goofy thing, but it kind of also reminds me of Seven, the new character from Brawlhalla.
Oh yeah, it does.
Because it's a similar kind of TV face.
Yeah, I see that.
But so not to spoil the first Nexamon game for anybody, if you don't want to hear about it. Not that it's story spoilers or anything, but I rolled credits on it, and then it's like you defeated the Nexalord, and everything went back to normal, and everything's fine, or is it?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, they're teasing for Nexamon Extinction, which is the next game in the series. No, you can load back your save, and somebody comes up to you, and they're like, hey, you're the Nexalord now. Now you basically have to go to hell and beat the Nexalord again down there.
Oh, so there's like a second quest?
So there's so you go down there, and there's this like wavy bar of light that you can't pass through until you rebirth all your Nexamon, which puts them all back at level 5.
Oh, so it's a new game plus.
So they level back up quicker and they get stronger, but you got to start back over at level 5.
That's cool. I like that.
Fuck that. All right, let's do it. So when you do that, it automatically gave me an achievement for getting one of my Nexamon to level 99. So I was like, hey, free Chivo that I didn't have to get. I'll take it.
Nice.
So now I'm at that. But I'm like, you know what, though? I rolled credits on it, so I'm still counting the minus -1 because
I think credits are what matters.
Credits, unless it's like a trick or a goof, like ending H in Nier Automata, for instance, or whatever it is, W, whichever one I got.
The one where you eat the fish.
No, the one where you just fail the first mission.
Oh, I know there's an ending to that game too where you eat the fish. And she's like, this is delicious, but my insides just turned to jelly because I'm a robot and can't process this. And
right.
Such a good game.
But
we will mention that game more during this episode.
I have a feeling that one's going to come up a few times.
So I am keen to play Nexamon Extinction soon because that's just like a bigger, better version of the first game.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about not playing the first one. I will dive into the second one if you want to play that this year.
No, yeah. The first one is not necessary. Like, I could tell that the first one was designed mainly for mobile devices. Mm. And it didn't take away anything from the game, which tells you that, like, it was one of those mobile device games that, like, was probably worth your money.
Yeah.
That wasn't a freemium type. I guess it would be a premium.
It was an actual game.
Yeah,
proper game. Like they used to make for mobile devices.
Back in the day when kids played with Play-Doh. But yeah, because it doesn't have the catch mechanic that Extinction does, which is when in Extinction you throw your next trap and then you got to put in a quick little key combo on your buttons to help with capture.
That's cool.
So kind of like halfway between a quick time event and the little superstition we all had in Pokemon where you'd hold up an A or up an B or whatever your regional version was.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to describe it, actually, is a little amalgamation of those two. But yeah, and I've played a little bit of Extinction, enough to know that it is also fucking hilarious.
Nice.
Great.
So I'm looking forward to that as well. And then for anybody, because we had this conversation the other night on chat, check out Nexamon 3. Go wishlist it on Steam. It is 3D. They're going to make it 3D. It looks fucking incredible from screenshots. I'm like, dude.
Hell yeah.
Because they're making this for PC, it's like, oh, this is what Pokemon could look like. Okay.
If they weren't targeting the Switch and desperate to get one out every year.
I can just imagine like how much... Like, Scarlet and Violet look pretty good, and they're pretty good games, but they have so many issues running. I just imagine playing that on a PC and how much better that would be.
Yeah, like I've thought about trying Scarlet and Violet on one of the emulators because you can do upscaling and things like that, and it would at least be able to see it at 60 frames. And because it's like, I haven't tried Tears of the Kingdom, but I know Breath of the Wild, you can get it running at, I run 2K because that's what my monitor is, but 2K 60 frames, it is like a whole other game. It's wild until you like, and Breath of the Wild by itself was a phenomenal, fantastic game.
Yeah.
But to see it run at those speeds and stuff, it's almost like, oh, okay, this is almost like a remaster in a sense. This is what it would be like, and it's just super cool.
Yeah. I feel like all those all those Nintendo systems, like when their emulators get good and you can upscale and stuff on them, they look incredible. Like they outpace the even the games weren't made for HD. Like I streamed Wii Punch-Out the other day, and I thought that game looked really good playing in like 720p.
Oh, it looked amazing, dude.
And it wasn't built for that. It they could have had so many shortcuts and cheats that they took, but instead it was a beautiful looking game.
And two, even with Dolphin Emulator, which I'm assuming is what you were using.
Yeah, that's
for
what I was using.
the Wii.
Dolphin, yeah.
Even with the GameCube games and stuff, if it's available on GameCube, I will emulate it through that, other than over PS2 or Xbox, because the GameCube emulator is just so much better.
It just lets you don't have to fidget with it as much as I remember you had to fidget with PS2 emulators.
Yeah.
I felt like you had to be so specific with what plugins to use and all that. At least that's my memory of PSX2X or whatever back in like 2012.
And the most interesting thing to me is that the GameCube is the easiest to emulate. Not that, I mean, hardware wise, that's understandable. But like the way Nintendo is about their hardware and like their games and how they're like so anti-piracy and all that type of stuff, it's just funny to me that like the Xbox, which is Microsoft,
the one with the most similar architecture to just a regular PC, running the
will
same
not emulate
company. Yeah.
It's like it is so like they've gotten better with it over the years, but the fact that it's still not up to par to this day is fucking wild to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because PS2 emulation, in my emulation lifetime, I'll call it, has gotten loads better. Xbox has not gotten it's gotten better, but not loads. I don't know.
The history of emulation is so funny, though, because like I remember having issues with like just Super Nintendo games back in the day because emulators weren't good enough to handle like transparency effects, right? And so I couldn't get through the mist cave in Final Fantasy IV, for instance. There was a girl in my middle school. I kept asking her, "How do you get through this part of Final Fantasy IV?" She's like, "You can just see through the mist." I'm like, "But I can't."
Oh man! And now you can just like run RetroArch on your phone and play any of those games flawlessly. It's just insane, dude.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I didn't mean to steer the conversation off that hard. But
no,
yeah,
that was fun. It was a good combo.
It was a good little chat.
Definitely looking forward to getting the next one.
Hell yeah!
You think it's game awards time then, or you got another thing? I feel like we went all over the place with that because you brought up a very Nintendo adjacent game, which ended up resulting in a fun balance of conversations.
I will say, and this is the last thing I've got, is yesterday I was able to give Brandy and Daphne their Christmas presents.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And Daphne was very excited about Sonic and the pet game. Nickelodeon Racer, she pulled it out and she was like, "Oh, that's cool." And Brandy was like, "Ooh," and grabbed it, and she was super stoked about that one.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, that works.
See, you're already indoctrinating a new Sonic fan, and I love it.
Yeah. And Sonic Mania, I figured that's the one to start with. Yeah.
Get them before they're too young to realize Sonic games are garbage. Just kidding. Now they're good again, so...
Then I gave Brandy Mortal Kombat 11 and Far Cry 6.
Sweet.
And she was super high. She's like, "Ooh, I've been reading about this game." Talking about Far Cry 6.
That's
She's
some
like,
game ass games.
Yeah, dude.
I'll give her credit, dude. Like, she's a gamer.
That's some gamer shit.
Like, the day that I had to go over there and record Yab's Pod, she just like sat down crisscross in front of me and was playing Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
Sick.
And I was like, "Hey, see, you're not just playing Call of Duty anymore. I'm proud of you. But I say that and I pick on her about Call of Duty, but like I do vividly remember her back in the day, like playing through some Final Fantasies and things like that too. Like, I give her credit where credit's due. She ain't a fake gamer." Oh man, yeah, man. Okay, so we got a bunch of categories. But I think, gentlemen, that we should start off with our number 3 for our top of the year. And then start rolling through categories as we see fit.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So I'll just keep deleting them off my text file as we address them.
So who would like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So for me, for number 3 of the year, this game I did not expect to like anywhere near as much as I did, let alone have it be the game, other than like Brawlhalla, that I spent the most hours playing out of any game this year. Period. Like, for the show or not. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing this with the boys and by myself. And I did roll credits on it and kept playing afterwards because you can do that in No Man's Sky. Fantastic game. I really loved it. That is my number 3.
All right. I can't argue with that.
I just had the cold chill that all of today, I forgot that No Man's Sky was a game we played this year. So the words I filled out today.
I did too, until I went through the episodes list for this year. I was like, holy shit, No Man's Sky was this year?
There's a couple of them I've got to double check now, but I think I've got a good list anyway.
Okay.
So I think me and Nathan both mentioned this to each other. When we first started doing our list, we started with the top 3, and we ended up with like a list of like 6 or 7 games that were basically fighting for 3 spots, with like an obvious number 1, a pretty obvious number 2, and then so many plausible number 3s that I only figured out what my number 3 was going to be like 15 minutes before we started recording. And it passed 1 because I decided I could move it to another really, really good category that I think it deserves better. The other 2 I feel a little bit bad about, but whatever. But I'm going to give my number 3 to A Short Hike.
Wow.
Really? Okay, I can dig that.
Yeah, there was just something incredibly pleasant about that game. It just came up on me. I didn't know anything about it going into it. I was just told, it's pleasant, it's short, you'll like it. And it was pleasant, it was short, and I liked it. But it was like a real delight to explore, had really fun characters. Like, I really liked just the way everyone talked, and the setting of it was really beautiful. The humor was on point, and like, it felt good to just go around collecting things, doing basic, almost just chores and fetch quests for the most part. But like, if you describe the game as being like, what if Zelda didn't have combat, you wouldn't be too far off.
That's true, yeah. I completely agree with you. I can see why you put it there. It was a really charming and fun game. I just was surprised that it made the top 3.
Charm ended up being what really got it there in the end, because all the games that almost made the list, they were games with awesome settings that I had to pick one, and when I thought about that one, it just made me smile the most.
And that was a game that I almost tried to rope in Ryan to join us for, because I remember when me and him first started the show and he started buying some Steam games, that was one of the games that he bought and he played through and was like, dude, you need to play this.
Oh, nice.
But we never got around to it. And so then when we played it for the show, like, I was able to kind of think about that while I was playing it, like, oh man, I can see why he really enjoyed this, you know?
Yeah.
So, shout out to Ryan, because he was right. It took us a long time to get around to it for the show, and I wish he could have been here, but it was worth it, man. I really liked that.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him. He's out there kicking ass on the independent circuit as a wrestling referee. So,
yeah.
Ref Ryan, check him out on Facebook. So my number 3 was a game that we got around to. It was one that I had wanted to play for a while for the show. It holds a place near and dear to my heart. You want to talk about the good, cozy feelings? That's what I get when I play this game or games in this series. And it just, it takes me back to a time when things were simpler and I could just sit down and enjoy the game, and everything was just simple and clean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, my number 3 is Kingdom Hearts.
Fair.
I mean, I will forever love Goofy for helping protect me, and I will forever damn Donald for never healing me. But I love him.
Yes, sir.
And just quickly, shout out to the Winnie the Pooh little minigame section. It's the cutest thing in gaming. It's so nice. It's just so humble. Or not humble. Wholesome.
Wholesome, yeah.
I make you humble. That's a whole different game.
Yeah, and that was one that I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about, and I really came away from it with positive feelings when I was absolutely sure that I was not going to enjoy that game, and I really, really did.
I went into it very skeptical. After the first hour, I was going to beat your ass for picking it. And after I got a little further into it, I was like, man, yeah, this is genuinely wonderful.
Yeah, it's a slow start. You know what I mean? As a lot of JRPGs from that era are.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. They really did a good job weaving the Disney and Final Fantasy and all that kind of stuff together. Whereas, like, as the series goes on, the Final Fantasy stuff kind of starts falling off.
It's more original Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Because it starts getting into its own lore, yeah.
And I understand it, that Kingdom Hearts lore is incredibly twisted and deep, which is also one of the reasons I was extremely hesitant to get into the series, because I'm like, oh boy, you're really roping us up into a very deep hole.
Yeah, this came up on Revival and Extinction. Shout out to Adam and his podcast Revival and Extinction, where I was telling someone that, like, the lore behind the Trails series may seem daunting, but at least it's not as confusing as Kingdom Hearts. Was basically the gist of the conversation that I had with these guys.
Trails may have, like, secret societies and stuff, but it's, like, basically just a chronological military history for the most part, right?
Yeah.
It's like politics and stuff happening. You can put a narrative to it. Like, I do not understand anything anyone's tried to tell me about Kingdom Hearts stuff I haven't played myself.
Fair enough. But yeah, that's my
I don't even know
number
what Organization 13 is yet.
3. Yeah, they get introduced in Kingdom Hearts 2. All right. What categories we thinking next, gentlemen? What do we want to start off with?
Why don't we do this rolling? Like, one of us picks, then one of us picks, then the other picks a category.
All right. Well, I'll kick it off since I've got a lit cigar here, we'll call it. Let's go with, what was your worst game of the year?
We're going straight to worst game of the year for this early on?
Why not?
Why not?
I thought it might be more of the midpoint thing.
Nope, we're doing it now.
What? We're doing it live. Let's go.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yo.
So
go ahead.
my choice for worst game of the year was a game that we played. Oh, excuse me. That I felt this game was a slap in the face to me and to you guys and to my childhood. The fact that they took this game that I loved and they tried to make it like another series, but that series was like the original series, and then they just made it super gritty, and then they just hurt my baby over and over and over and over and over. And I just can't stand for that. So the worst game of the year that we played for the Steam Machine podcast, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, is Tomb Raider 2013. Fuck that game.
I completely understand it. I mean, again, I think it, as a horror game at the start, it was more successful than some of the horror games we played. But as an action game where you're the lady who backflips double pistoling dinosaurs, it is not that game at all.
Dude, they took away all the whimsy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, that's what made Tomb Raider. Was like, at one point you're playing and you get startled because there's a tiger that jumps out at you, and you gotta have a battle with a tiger, and then you go through the cave a little further and there's a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And there's none of that in this game. It took itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I know a lot of people might be expecting me to say something like Starfield, or how much that I was disappointed.
Great news. I'll get it out of your way then. Fuck Starfield. That's my worst game of the year.
I can understand that. Absolutely.
Not only was it just an awful game that barely worked, that didn't do any of the things it could have done to be interesting. It's a worse version of so many other different games. But we played it right after Morrowind 2, which means I got to see such an incredible drop in quality across everything, while still seeing all the shit that they were doing that was obviously still just Morrowind code running in this engine.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost like a blessing and a curse, doing those back-to-back.
I was a little bit surprised it didn't end up being a triple for Starfield, but let's hear what you got, Nate. Sorry to cut you off, but you gave me a good...
Yeah, no, I definitely did. First of the year, worst of the year. I'm with you, Dalton. Tomb Raider was the worst game that we played in the year for every reason you said. And just like I mentioned earlier, I just started playing Assassin's Creed. It does not play as well as Assassin's Creed, the original game. Like, Tomb Raider was bad, and I was very sad about it was bad, because I could see the joy in Dalton's eye getting to announce that we were going to play Tomb Raider, because that was his host pick. And then when we got in there, we were like, God damn it.
That game, it really felt like... The worst part about playing it was like getting a Christmas present from someone and you're not sure about it, but you have to keep trying to talk yourself into thinking you like it, and then realizing the more you play with it, no, you don't.
Yeah. It was a bump. Both choices, both worst games on this list.
Yeah.
Fucking
the biggest
bummers.
bummer factor. Because at least we knew Duke Nukem Forever was going to be a bummer.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. We played Duke Nukem Forever, and none of us thought that was the worst game we played this year. It wasn't even close to the worst game we played this year.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
No.
It wasn't that bad. It was very mid.
Yep, it was mid. That's it. It was mid.
It's aggressively mid. Aggressively mid and aggressively dated.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Why don't you throw out the next category, Will?
Well, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to keep with the lighter weight categories for a little bit until we get into the bigger ones, because I feel like things like most fun game and the best writing and stuff, those are pretty huge ones. So I'd like to start with one of our more esoteric but fun categories, because I feel like this has so many interpretations. How you feel for best value for time or money?
Let me find that on my list.
It's very close to the bottom if you did it.
Okay, I do see it. Okay, yep. And since I kind of went last on the last category, I'll take the first one on this one. The best value for time to money, Terraria. You could sink thousands of hours into Terraria, and it's like, what, $15 full price? Like, that game, I have that. Let's just spoiler alert, that's going to hit more than one category for me tonight. I've really enjoyed my time with that game, and I just think the amount of things you can do in that game for the price, it's pretty incredible. It's a great game.
There are a whole bunch of places where Terraria almost hit mine. I gotta tell you that. And it still is. You're still going to hear the name, but there's a bunch of places where it came in second, too.
Yeah.
What you just said reminded me of Mike Tenay. When he used to be on the Taz show and he'd give a top 5 whatever, he'd mention a team and be like, they're just outside the top 5. Like, he would always say that. It's just become a joke to people who used to listen to those. They're just outside the top 5. Anyway, sorry.
Like the way you're delivering it reminds me like the just a bit outside from Major League. I'll take the next one then. Did I give that award too? Oh, I did give this multiple awards. So
my game.
I mean, it's still it deserves both of them. It's chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime was absolutely free.
That's true.
And was really short, and yet it was. I mean, you will not feel like you wasted your time. You may not love it, but I think you'll at least have a good time with it. It's a pretty satisfying puzzle game. It has a couple solid scares. It has an interesting sense of place to it. I really liked it.
Yeah, there's a reason that was kind of like the cover story for our free games this year was Poppy Playtime. I think it really represented what a free game should be, because it was actually really fun and good. So I feel you on that.
We could have easily just done a Poppy Playtime episode and did the whole game instead of doing the free episodes one, and I would have been just as happy, honestly.
Yeah.
For sure. So, best value for time and money. That's what we're on, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, just making sure my eyes are adjusting to the right line. This is a game that is going to come up multiple times for me. It's a game that's already been mentioned, to be honest with you. It's a game that I've been playing for a long time, and they have consistently updated it with new shit for no charge. This is a game that has community events that they update on the regular, and there are 0 microtransactions. Once you buy the game, you have the game, and all of the shit that they've added to it over the years has all been free, and that is No Man's Sky. So, like, I paid for that game twice, on PlayStation 4 and on my PC. And I think that for both of those, I have gotten my money out of those and more.
No question about it. That's another game I could see myself like uninstalling for a while, reinstalling, playing a whole bunch of time in. I like that you interpreted the question completely differently than I did too, because I thought time or money, like either the game is really short and you'll enjoy it or it's really cheap, but you went with this is the best money for time prospect, like dollars per hour.
Yeah. I've put a ton of time into No Man's Sky, and I think I've gotten more than my money's worth out of it. You know what I mean? Like, if they decided that the next thing they were going to drop was going to be a charged DLC and they charged $14.99 or whatever, I would pay it.
Yeah. After all the major free updates, like they did at the Game Awards, that history of all the major updates before they announced Light No Fire, and like it was incredible to see how many things that could have easily been DLC packages that were just free major upgrades over and over and over again for years and years on it.
Shoutouts to that team, dude, because I completely can understand and I don't disagree with best value for money for what they've done.
True, absolutely.
Yeah, Hello Games, man, and Sean Murray. Like, and I love that Sean Murray embraces this character he has become about the hype machine. He tweets memes about himself hyping up Light No Fire and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, hype it. Like, you guys have proven to me that even if you are pushed to release something due to, circumstances, you need money to keep the studio open, whatever the fuck, I know eventually you're going to get it right.
Yeah, you're not in the Peter Molyneux, Will Wright type zone where we no longer believe you. You just all hype and no game. Yeah. You are in the zone where it's like, you'll deliver, we trust you, just work on it. Just do your thing, and if you want to get us excited for it, I'm listening.
Yeah, and it is a game that I've uninstalled it, but anytime I see that there's a new update, my ass immediately installs it to go check this new update out. And it's like, not many games get me to do that.
If Nate weren't out of town this weekend, I would just talking about it makes me wish we could play it some more.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. Like, I want to set up a community night to play some No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Hells yes.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that means next category, and that's mine. So I'm going to kind of throw a real softball at everybody because we did not play very many games that fall into this category this year. Right. I want to know what you guys think was the best turn-based combat.
So we looked through the list of games, and I think there are only 3 games you could even justifiably call turn-based. So Trails in the Sky SC is a tactical RPG with true turn-based combat. Kingdom Hearts is an action RPG that at least has menu-based combat. And Monster Rancher 2 had a combat system that was a little bit actiony and a little bit turn-based. Like, it was kind of a hybrid. It was still an RPG-like combat system in general. So I think those are the only games we can pull from. And just because I feel like I already gave Trails in the Sky best turn-based on when we did FC, I'm tempted to slip it in another direction and say I really enjoyed the way Kingdom Hearts plays out.
Okay. I just gave it to Trails.
Yep, I think that.
I also gave it to Trails.
I think that's fair. I mean, like, honestly, me and Dalton played through the entire game too, so we kind of have like that feeling, and we've got to see how it plays, and it's just as good as FC.
Yeah, if it's as good as FC, it's probably the actual best turn-based combat this year. I just wanted to be a little different.
I understand.
I'm not trying to stop sweeps on purpose. I don't think anyone should get a free category for being the only team that shows up.
Fair enough. But man, you got to finish SC. There's some shit that happens in that game. Woo.
Yeah. Plus, we need to get to the third one this year too. So
I know. You guys talk to me off air. You're just making sure that the audience knows I'm lecturing about it.
You're goddamn right. It's exactly what I'm doing.
Punish Snake over
Accountability.
Here. All right, so that's turn based. Dalton, what's your next category?
I'm gonna eat this little piece of chocolate here, and then let's see. So let me delete that one so I don't accidentally try to read it out later.
That's what I've been doing for everything except the top 3, yeah.
I'm just putting dashes by them so I know.
Well, I'm just going to revert my save when I'm done so I can save the actual list.
That's fair.
All right, so I'll go in the same vein. What was the best action combat game?
I feel like this one could go a lot of ways. I think we played some really good character action, some really good beat-em-ups, a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty exciting category because there were so many things that fell into it. For me...
Gaius?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Go.
Well, I was just going to say, I think because we have 2 combat-related categories, I was starting to think that maybe next year we should also add in a best puzzles category just to get the other side of gameplay.
I think that's fair.
Without it being the full game, most fun or best game one.
Okay, I'm down.
I'm cool with that.
I think if you guys want to do full best puzzles, think about it for a minute. I'd be happy to do that after this category.
Okay. I already know my answer for that.
Yeah,
I do too, because it's a pretty obvious one this year, but still.
Yeah. All right, so for best action combat for me this year, I think this game really stepped it up and was a lot of fun to get in there and just kill dozens of robots at once. Just getting to take your sword, your gun, whatever you wanted to, and just go to town. Like, I love playing as 2B, and Nier Automata was a way better game than I was anticipating, and the combat in it was fluid. And out of all the kind of games we played with similar combat, including like Metal Gear Rising and Yakuza, this one did it the best.
And it had such a cool hybrid combat. Like, where it fluidly would switch between, like, you're going in and doing your hack and slash stuff, and then all of a sudden, hey, congratulations, you're playing a twin-stick shooter for a little while.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really neat.
And just things like that, it was very, very cool.
Yeah, so that's mine for that category.
So for that category, I was torn between 2 games. One of them was Nier Automata. But the one that ended up eking out that to me was just for the sheer brutality of some of the things that I pulled off in the game. I can't even like try to sugarcoat it. Like the attachment that I have to the main character because of games that I've played with him in the past. I got to give it to Metal Gear Rising.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't fault you for that at all.
I'm going to be honest, guys. There was a pretty clear top 3 in this game, and I was kind of hoping we would do exactly this, and each of us pick one of those 3 games. And so I am pleased to announce that the one I have written down is Yakuza Kiwami 2. And I was really hoping those would be the other 2 games that got brought up. The thing about Yakuza Kiwami 2 that I really liked is just there's a lot of like stop, block boss fights in a lot of the other games. In the Yakuza series, even, like, sometimes the combat isn't the strongest, especially against bosses. And I feel like Yakuza 2 really smoothed it up.
I agree with that.
Even Zero had some really tanky bosses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Yakuza 2 really perfected the fighting style.
Super excited to play 6.
Hell yeah, that is exactly what I'm thinking. I almost said those exact words.
Man, and there are people who hate the Dragon Engine, and I'm like, man, but it was
Ain't
so
me.
fluid.
Yeah, I don't understand. It couldn't be me either.
Like, who cared if they flopped like a fish a little bit sometimes on the ground?
It's funny.
Like,
yeah. Do I miss stances a little bit? Kind of, but I loved the way it played.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's Willie's category now then, right?
Well, I just said that my category is the new category of best puzzle solving gameplay. We could probably refine that title next year when we do it.
Best puzzle solving. I'm just writing it down like that for now.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to make this an easy one. Talos Principle.
I mean, Talos Principle is the only full-bore puzzle game we played, and I can't think of any puzzle systems in any of the other games that really holds a candle.
No.
Oh, it gives my heart such a boner to make that the first fucking clean sweep. Talos Principle is the best puzzle game that we played this year for sure.
Let's go. I wanted to be able to say some good stuff about Talos Principle, and we got some really action-oriented categories, and RPG-oriented categories, so I wanted to give a chance to talk about puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, Talos Principle is fantastic. Like, I will say that it starts off super-duper strong, and it kind of fades towards, like, a little bit... Like, after you get 3/4 in the game...
The last couple gadgets.
I think the last couple gadgets kind of, like, fell off for me. But overall, I still think that was a really fantastic game. And I'm excited to see how they improve upon it in Talos Principle 2.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but it is somehow even better. Like, it's the sequel you never thought you could ask to want.
That's awesome.
And I love that it comes from fucking Crow Team. Like, it's just the dudes who make Serious Sam decided to make one of the best fucking puzzle games ever made, and it's
hilarious.
Like, what the fuck? Just as a proof of engine
test, for their Serious Sam game. Which, why would they even need a proof of engine puzzle game when the concept of Serious Sam is like 10 million actors on screen running at you at once?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm happy they did it.
It's tremendous. Yeah,
it is incredible. God bless them. Good work, Crow Team.
Yeah, man, and fucking shout out to Serious Sam too. I love that series so much.
Indeed.
All right. So I guess that puts it back to me for the category. I'm gonna hit you with a semi-big one because I think this one's this one's co-captain is a little bit bigger deal this year. But I want to know what you guys think the song of the year non-vocal is, because I think the vocal one's going to be huge. So
yeah, vocal I consider a major. This one a little less so.
So my song of the year non-vocal, I chose it specifically because it is a absolutely fucking iconic track. It has been heard in every game since, just in a different, they've redone it for the different games, but the base of the song is still the same. And it is just so, it's just so beautiful. It's well written. I could sit and just listen to it, and that's rare for a fucking main theme for a game. But it is Nerevar Rising, the theme from Morrowind. It is the first game that has that do 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 that everybody associates with Skyrim now.
Yeah.
That melody started in Morrowind.
Sweet Nerevar.
That was one of the 3 songs I considered myself.
It is such a beautiful piece of music.
And I almost gave it to that one too, just because out of the top 3 I had, that's the only one that actually comes from that game. The other ones are remixes of other games' musics.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it ended up being I listened to both of these right before we recorded also to just decide which one I vibed with today. And the answer was Sonic Generations Rooftop Run Act 2.
Same.
That's actually yours too?
That is actually mine as well.
Holy hell.
If nothing else, Sonic Generation gave us banger after banger tracks this year. It might not have been my favorite as far as any other category could possibly go, but the non-vocal tracks of the game, especially Rooftop Run and Chemical Plant Zone, can't get enough of those.
So my runner-up, since I hinted at it, was Grab Bag, the Duke Nukem theme.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hail to the king, baby.
Yep, good stuff.
Yeah, Rooftop Run, the vibe is so there. It makes you want to rush while smiling.
Don't listen to that song while you're driving, because you will end up at 90 miles per hour.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been noticing lately Metallica does that to me too.
The first time I ever got pulled over for speeding, I was on the way up Interstate 64, going west, towards Evansville, Indiana, and the part of Fade to Black where the tempo switches had just happened, and all of a sudden I was going 81 instead of 65. It was not intentional.
To me, it's always either when Blacken kicks in or on this burned CD that I have because I don't have a cool Bluetooth shit in my car. The CD is Blackened and then Battery and then Master of Puppets. So it's
that's a banging set.
It's just, I'm just cruising at 70 on this road that the speed limit's 60, and I'm just like, you know what? Cops don't give a fuck as long as you're not doing 75, 80. Even if you are, sometimes they don't give a fuck because it's Florida. They're like, whatever. Crash into a tree.
Run into a gator.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, I will tell you, from experience, if you run over a snake that's big enough, you will pop a little air if you're going fast enough.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, learned that the hard way.
Word up. All right. So I guess that leads us into Dalton picking another category.
Oh, shit.
Indeed. I can't believe me and Nate came up with the same. I thought Nate would be very surprised I came up with that one in the first place.
I had a feeling that's what you came up with, if I'm being perfectly honest, especially when you started talking about them being remix tracks.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Did you called Rooftop Run in particular though, not Chemical Plants or just the Green Hill Zone even?
What game do you think had the best setting?
That's a good one. You know what? This is going to be one of my apology awards. This is one of the ones where I wish I had played the game more because I loved everything I saw about the world in the little bit of time I got to play it. And man, if I do hope I end up with the time to get back to it. There's so many games I said I wanted to get back to this year, and I've only got back to a couple. But Nier Automata, man, that is a setting. Everything about that is so intriguing.
Yeah. For me, I like the way this game slow-rolled plot ideas, and I think this came from being expanded upon and being expanded upon and being expanded upon with free update after free update after free update. You just got to learn so much more about the lore, and then going to the center of the galaxy, and then I just thought it was really interesting how everything was rolled out. It might not have been the best story or anything like that, but the way it was rolled out and seeing all the different places you got to go because of it, I've really enjoyed the entire setting of No Man's Sky.
At the very minimum, it definitely wins biggest setting.
Yeah, I can't argue either of those. Those are both good choices, but this is another award that we're all giving to different games.
Sweet.
Okay.
To me, this setting has just started to feel like home.
Yeah.
We've played 2 games in the series, and in both of those games, you're kind of exploring these same places.
And you start to learn the people in them. You start to become friends, know about the differences between the areas.
Absolutely. And anytime something major happens, you can go and talk to all your favorite NPCs. They'll have something new to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I am going to give best setting to Trails in the Sky second chapter.
Very fair. Definitely on my short list for that category as well.
Hell yeah.
It's so good, dude. And like when we started playing second chapter and we just started going to the same towns, but we weren't allowed to use the or we were allowed to use the airships now and stuff, it was like, man, it's like coming back. It's almost like my runner-up for this one was obviously Kamurocho for the same exact reasons, where it's like you learn it and you're getting used to where everything's at, and it's just so cool.
I made a huge point this year to limit the amount of awards I gave to Kiryu and Kamurocho and Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah, weren't we talking about renaming the
Protagonist Award?
The best hero award, to the Kiryu protagonist of the year award.
Yeah.
The Kazuma Kiryu. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So that's who goes next, Willie or me? Willie, right?
Willie.
It goes this way on my screen. So was that Dalton's question?
Yeah, so it's you now.
Then it's fine. Yeah. Hold on. I think I forgot to delete mine after I said it. Was that best setting? Okay, I did. Okay.
You bastard.
Let's go with that one. I think one of the most fun categories we get to every year is what game was the smallest surprise of the year?
All right.
Okay.
It's just such a fun question.
For me, the smallest surprise of the year was Trails in the Sky second chapter. I got exactly what I expected from that game. I got exactly what I wanted from that game. Was I surprised? No. Did I love it? Yes.
All right. I can't argue that. Can't argue that.
Mine goes in the exact same direction, but it was about Taylor's Principle. It was exactly as great of a puzzle game and as well written as everyone had told me it was going to be.
All right. And my smallest surprise, because I already knew I loved the game. I already knew I loved playing the game with you guys. Right? And this time when we played it, I didn't get to see Jeff get murdered, but we did rope in Dave. Shout out Tadpog. Tyler and Dave play old games. The smallest surprise to me this year was Phasmophobia, because I knew
completely
it was going to be a fucking blast.
Yeah, completely fair as well.
And it was, and that was a fantastic episode. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that'll leave me into another category I think is a lot of fun. What was the best game you sucked at?
You want me to just go first?
Go for it, brother.
I never got to the first save point in Nier Automata. That's why either I wasn't on the episode or I barely talked on it because I didn't. I couldn't. I kept dying. I was too stubborn to turn down the difficulty. I put it down. I didn't pick it back up. I just was very busy.
That first fucking boss fight thing is real hard, even on normal.
And it takes such a long time to get from the beginning of that scene back to that boss fight just to die on it for the third time.
That's exactly what happened. I think I died on it like 3 times, and I'm like, I don't feel like playing through all that again. It was really cool, but I don't want to do it all to get to that same death again.
And the thing that sucks about that is once you get past that, there's so much opportunity for saving and everything, but like you have to get through that first section.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, this, like, it's the best game you sucked at. I still think it owned. I had a great time getting killed there. It was really cool. I just couldn't do it.
Yep, I get it. For me, the best game that I sucked at, I love this game. I think I raved about it on the podcast, on the episode we did. But I did not think I was good at it. I think this was a hard game for me, but like I want to play more of them. I should have played the second story in that one. But Resident Evil 2, freaking love it. Think it's fantastic. But man, I'm not really very good at the whole ammo management and all that stuff. Like I beat Leon's story, but I did not go back and do the Claire. Yeah, I did not go back and do Claire's story, which I might have to do that pretty soon because I do like that game a lot.
To be fair, you're not supposed to feel like you're good at ammo management in those games. It's supposed to be stressful.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is horror.
It is by design there to make your butt
I don't
fucker.
necessarily enjoy that kind of experience very much, but I can see where you would think the problem is with me instead of the game deliberately oppressing you.
Yeah.
I think it makes a good argument for the success of the game's design and the success of the remake.
True.
So the best game that I sucked at, I would have literally turned off in 5 minutes playing by myself. I know because I've done that. But playing with you guys and Mikolov was a blast. And other than that, I mean, the game was cool, I guess. There was some stuff and we could build some things. And I know you guys really seemed to like it a lot more than I did. I don't remember what score I gave it, but it couldn't have been too terribly high. But if it was influenced because I had such a good time playing with my boys. And the best game that I sucked at was Terraria.
That's fair.
I was a lot of time in that game. Dalton, what are you doing sitting here hitting my vape pen and running around?
Yeah.
I remember specifically we were playing that game, and Nate goes, I like vape pen Dalton. He's funny. Like, I heard that line sticks in my head.
It was reliable.
Yeah, dude, because I guarantee I was sitting over here just like kicked back, just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good time.
Click on a skeleton every now and then and just enjoy it.
Is it mine?
It is.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, it is.
Plenty of we're getting into the bigger ones now for the most part.
I was gonna say, let's each pick one more, and then let's do number 2, and then we'll
Perfect.
go through the rest of them.
Perfect.
Okay. So you, me, Nate, and then we go to number 2. Love that.
Boys, who did you think was the most evil, sinister, best villain?
I know Nate's answer. I'm not sure about Dalton's. I don't know if anyone knows mine.
Nanomachine, son.
Yeah.
I
knew that's where it was going.
Absolutely adore Senator Armstrong. He is everything that's wrong with America wrapped up in one character, and it's played out so freaking well. Like, every decision they made about his backstory was so perfect. Like, he played football for UT, not some Ivy League school, you know? Like, he's from Texas. Like, everything about Senator Armstrong was perfect. Like, hands down my favorite villain in a year where we had a game with Ryuji Goda in it.
And
yeah, that's a good point.
I absolutely adore the memes of him that say Jim Cornette, but it's spelled G-Y-M Cornette. Because he's just fucking roided out, but he in the face looks a fucking lot like Jim Cornette. Tremendous.
Absolutely.
It's like, I want to pay Jim Cornette on Cameo to cut that promo from the end of Metal Gear Rising. So we could just have him going, Nano Machine, son! Motherfucker! So Willie, I'm gonna let you go next because I want to do
sure.
mine last.
Because mine is probably a little outside of left field, but that's not the expression. But, it's outside of left. It's in center field. It's great. I loved how at first the guy kind of just sounds like he's trying to sound hard and is obviously kind of a poser. And the deeper you get into the game and the more you get taunted by Jacob from Dusk, the more you want to get to him and beat his ass.
Nice. I did not get far enough to get too acquainted with that guy, but like I'm glad that you found a villain you really wanted to kill.
The point you stopped at was definitely about where it started to get good story and setting wise.
Yeah.
Guys, boys, gentlemen,
Sir.
the best villain was a god.
Yeah.
And how can you kill a god? And that is a grand and intoxicating innocence that you have to choose anyone other than Dagoth or Narabar.
I do consider Dagoth at this point to be sort of a mascot of our podcast.
Me too, man. Me too. Absolutely.
All because of that catchy-ass Young Scrolls song.
Yeah.
All because of that catchy-ass Young Scroll song.
I think that is a extremely valid choice.
Oh, yeah.
I just think, as much as there are sections of Morrowind that have not aged well, the writing is not one of those sections.
Yeah.
It's like that was peak Bethesda quest writing.
Oh, yeah. The quest writing in that game is far and away above and beyond Skyrim. And, like, I'm looking forward to seeing what Oblivion has to offer. But, like, Morrowind, story-wise, not as, like, way better, than Skyrim. Just Skyrim's gameplay is a little bit better.
Yeah. Morrowind suffered from the let's make our combat dice-based instead of, like, whereas in Oblivion, it's like if your sword if it visually hits them, it hits them. You know,
and I would go so far as to say, I wouldn't even say Skyrim has better gameplay. I would say it specifically has better feeling combat.
Yeah.
I think other gameplay-wise, I think Morrowind actually still kind of kicks it out.
Yeah. I think where Morrowind really didn't age all that well is in the graphical department.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and that's just product of its time. There are mods that fix that these days, you know?
Yeah.
Oblivion's kind of ugly too, so that we'll have that going for us.
Oblivion
like,
is
the
definitely
settings,
ugly.
The settings are lovely. The models are terrible.
Like, I just started a new Oblivion playthrough, and I'm doing it with minimal mods. So I'm just running the patches, and then a character face fixer.
Yeah.
And it's like, whenever we play it for the show, I'm gonna hook y'all up with these mods because I know it's like they're lightweight, they're not big files, and it's not a lot of this is gonna break this and this and that. No, these are all things that just fix things. So,
I don't want the mod. I want to see the adoring fan look as annoying and banana shaped as he is.
You don't have to have the potato thing. I want you guys to have the patches. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's okay.
Making it not crash on y'all.
Not crash is good, but we need the horrible lumpy potato people.
No, yeah. That's fine.
All right, so I guess my pick is next.
Yes, sir.
All right. You know, I feel like what is a villain without a hero? And I think that a hero can save us, but I'm not going to stand here and wait. So for my hero, I have actually broken the rules. I didn't pick a hero. He's not a hero. Firemen, janitors, those are the real heroes. Sergeant Rex Power Colt.
I will say that guy had a lot of personality and was a lot of fun. He was like what Duke Nukem and Duke Nukem Forever wanted to be.
That is exactly it. And after playing Duke Nukem Forever, I really appreciated Sergeant Colt way more.
Do you have a lady at home? No. Well, yes, Lady Liberty. And she taught me only losers do drugs.
Yes.
As I'm sitting here smoking a joint.
Yeah, I think that is a valid choice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw that. I missed something. I had an honorable mention for best villain.
Oh, who's that?
The Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor.
Ah, okay.
Because the orc that ended up being my ultimate rival was a really fun guy to just battle each other and forge our rivalry over time.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really interested how they... I've heard they took that system and just amplified it in Shadow of War.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Shadow of War
for sure. War dorks.
All right. So my choice for the Cosmic Kiryu Best Hero Award. She's a very interesting character. I liked how she became more and more emotional as the game progressed. Like, starts off super robotic, no pun intended, and just you see her just develop. And like, I know she's not the only hero in the game, but she's the one that I really fell in love with. Not just because when she does a ground pound with her head, you can see up her skirt, but it is a 2B from Nier Automata.
Hell yeah. Very human for such a robot.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess this year
I'm a big fan of that.
This category was 2B or not 2B.
Fuck off.
Yeah, and this is definitely the category that I definitely looked at myself and said, you cannot give this to Kiryu again.
Yep.
He would have been a solid 2-time winner, but I also did not give it to Kiryu. I handed this award to a man who I saw get his arm cut off, get his jaw ripped off, and still come back and kick some ass. That's because you can't stop him. He shares a name with one of the best characters in Mortal Kombat, but they pronounce it differently. I'm giving it to Raiden.
Yeah, man. I feel that one.
I definitely didn't have much of an appreciation for Raiden going into this game. I just knew in this one he's apparently really badass and not just the dude everyone hated in Metal Gear Solid 2. And I was like, yeah, I can see why he is the main character here. He rules.
Yeah.
And see, I'm so happy that you guys played this one first, so you have an appreciation for Raiden, so that when we get to Metal Gear... Although, without you guys growing up with Metal Gear Solid...
We played the first game,
yeah.
We didn't beat...
Oh, okay,
we didn't beat it, but we did play the first game.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, well then...
We got at least past, like, Sniper Wolf. I know we got that far, at least.
Oh, okay, well you got a decent ways in, then.
Yeah.
But I just, man, I never understood the hate for Raiden. Like, was it surprising that I wasn't playing as Snake? Yeah, but, like, I didn't immediately hate the dude. But I also wasn't an adult at the time.
Yeah.
So, but Raiden's the man.
Yep.
All right. Those are two pretty high impact categories, so I'm going to knock it down, take us into Relaxationville. What was the most relaxing game we played in 2023, boys?
Okay. This one was a category where I had two that were fighting for it, and then a third one swooped in and ended up winning it for me. There were two that were definitely battling it out in my head. Just games that were definitely mainly chill vibes for the most part. And then, out of nowhere, I just realized, man, I just felt good and relaxed the whole time I played Sonic Generations. Like, that game was just, it wasn't very stressful. There were a couple moments that had some difficulty to it, but it was mostly just a really peaceful and fun experience. Like, it was, like, just so stress-free to me.
I think we're going to all go three different directions on this one, because based on comments Dalton made earlier, he's not picking the same game I picked for most relaxing, unless that vape pen was just doing him so right that he was relaxed as hell while we were playing it. But I just found it really relaxing just to get in and play in Terraria, especially doing it with my boys. We could just walk around, mine, build houses. I just had a really good time doing that. I thought it was pretty chill and relaxing.
It's good shit. Dalton's eating a cookie.
That was a York peppermint patty, sir.
Is a Thin Mint a cookie? Is a York peppermint patty that different from a Thin Mint?
Yeah, because a Thin Mint's got a thin piece of cookie in it.
Yeah.
So it's a cookie. Let's go.
A York peppermint patty does not.
Fair enough.
Most relaxing game. I had a couple different ones that bounced around in my head for this one, but the one that I ended up going with was the game that I was going through a lot when we were playing this game for the show. Me and Megan had split. Daisy died. Like, there was a lot of mental bullshit that I was going through, and I mean, I'm still suffering from some of that. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was heavy at that time, and to be able to load in to this game and be in creative mode and not have to worry about dying or gathering anything that I needed. I could just build a tower as tall as I fucking wanted. And
he did.
And I did. And it helped me, as stupid as it sounds, like doing that helped me get through that shit. Just being able to unfocus, chat with you guys on mic, or watch whatever YouTube video I was watching. And
you got to build a virtual mausoleum, and I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, so my most relaxing game was No Man's Sky.
I understand that one.
Yeah. If anyone had any honorable mentions going around, like if there were a couple ones you were thinking might get mentioned, the one that almost won it for me was actually just 2/3 of Dredge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of Dredge is very chill, and then it's
the beginning and the end kind of too. Like once you get to a certain level of ability, you're not really worried about anything except the last area.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so I guess that brings us in to our number two of the top 3 of the year. Boys, what was the second best game of 2023?
Well, I'll go ahead and go first on this one because I just talked about it. It was a game that I had so much fun playing with you guys, just sinking the time into it, exploring through space. It was everything I wish another game was, and more. And the crafting in it's fun. And again, like everything we've mentioned already on this episode about this game, because this game has been pulling some awards. I'm giving it to No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is my number 2.
Absolutely.
All right. I think let me go third on this one because I think what I'm going to say is going to mess up the rest of the show.
Okay.
Okay.
My number 2. This is one we played early in the year, and it just like grabbed me by the balls and yanked me through the entire story, and I loved every minute of it. Like, just being able to slash my way through countless foes, Zenketsu, however you say that word, just making, and then ripping out their blue hearts and taking their power as Raiden. Man, I loved Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It stuck with me throughout this entire year. Like, every time I think about that game, I'm just like, man, that's such a fun and fantastic game. And I'm like, I can't believe that's part of the same series as Metal Gear Solid.
Very different vibes.
Very.
Like, I love Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Beautiful, wonderful game.
Can you imagine playing Snake's Revenge and then playing that?
Revengeance is Kojima Unchained. It really is.
It's a magnificent, magnificent game. And the part where I ruin everything is where I give Yakuza Kiwami my number 2 game of the year.
Wow.
Wait, Yakuza Kiwami 2?
2, yes.
Okay.
We didn't play 1 this year, we played 2.
Yeah.
We played 2
yeah,
and 3.
duh. What the fuck am I thinking? Yeah. I can't argue that.
Yeah.
I mean, it rules. We'll be talking about it more later, so I don't need to go into detail, because I guarantee it's one of your number 1s.
All right. Okay, that's fair. All right, so back to Dalton's round.
Oh, shit. What was the biggest surprise of the year?
Surprises.
I want to go last on this one. Por favor.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest surprise was something small. The biggest surprise to me this year was A Short Hike. I picked the game. It was a host pick for me. I think we played it in the middle of while playing Trails, maybe. And
that sounds right.
That sounds right.
And, like, I picked it because it looked cute. I like hiking. I was like, I'm just going to pick this without going in without knowing too much about it. And I just sat down and beat the game, I feel like, in one session because I loved playing it so much. Everything about it was just wonderful and took me completely off guard, completely charming. Everything Willie said about it earlier, like when he said it was his number 3 game of the year, like, yeah, dude, great game.
Yeah, that ended up being my honorable mention for this category too. But I just, when I'd seen the key art for it and heard that it was a game that was all hyped up by streamers as scary, but it was children looking, I was like, okay, Poppy Playtime is going to be some damn Five Nights at Freddy's bullshit. Then I played it and it was actually valid and good, and that blew my mind. I thought it was going to be pretty bad, but maybe the most polished game we'd play this year in the free horror games, and instead I genuinely thought it was a great standalone game, not just to do for Halloween, but just a good game.
Nice, yeah, I agree.
My biggest surprise this year was not a good surprise.
Unfortunate.
It was a terrible surprise, but it did surprise the shit out of me. And that
Two ways
was
this one could go.
And that was, boys, when I rolled credits on a game that I had been waiting for, and I had been waiting for, and I had been waiting for when I fucking played through Starfield and I rolled credits on that game and I had zero motivation to continue playing it at all, that was the biggest surprise to me, because I thought this was going to be my new Skyrim. I thought this was going to be the game I sank 1,000 hours into. I thought, man, this is going to be everything I loved about the other games, but in space. And it was a bland, boring, really wide puddle. And it broke my motherfucking heart. And now I'm worried about Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. And
that doesn't make me happy. So my biggest surprise was the piece of shit that is Starfield.
You hear that, Mikolov?
to the point that'll come up later,
yes,
won't it? Or if you put that
will.
Yeah, okay. The fact that the dude who made the wildly popular Skyrim Together mod, like where we could play Skyrim Together multiplayer with it, was making a Starfield Together mod and then just quit because he said the game's shit. And he released the source code for it. He's like, if anybody wants to finish this, you can, but I'm not going to. I don't want to play this game anymore. Damn.
Yeah, that is. Damn.
So yeah, rant over.
Single tier for you, Dalton.
Yeah, rant over, man. That was just my biggest surprise. Starfield sucks.
All right, Willie.
Oh, is it my category now?
Yeah. Dalton just did the biggest surprise, right?
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think I'd like to get back to. I want to get back to some of the big. You know what? Let's do a smaller one because I ended up with a goofier pick in this one. Then I probably shouldn't have done this. I kind of cheated to get another category. But let's get best voice acting, shall we? We played some games with some pretty damn good voice acting this year. I feel like. I'll
agree with that.
And then I went and gave it to a game that doesn't have it. My choice is the computer synthesized voices from Faith: The Unholy Trinity. There is something about those awful little robot noises that really wigged me out in a way that no human performance could have.
I have the body of a pig.
That one especially. That is the worst thing. I love it.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool one. I do agree that was... I get it. I like it. Yeah.
we strictly speaking don't have a best sound design category, so I kind of ended up piggybacking it to there, you know?
All right. So for me... best voice acting. I mean, all I had to do was watch the scene between either Sam and Raiden or Senator Armstrong and Raiden. Like, I love the voice cast in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Like, that's part of the reason why that got to my number 2 spot. Like, just nailed it out of the park for me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one answer to this, and it's Hail to the King, No.
No disrespect to John St. John, but you weren't given much of a script to work with, my guy.
Oh, yeah. Homeboy has one of the most iconic voices ever, but no, as far as that game. No, my best voice acting is a game. They don't even speak in our language, but they convey what, I mean, I'm used to it from anime, but like they really convey well, even with... to make the subtitles come through the way they need to, but you're hearing their original voices. I gotta give it to Kiwami 2.
Yeah, that is one of those games that when we get to the point where they start having the optional dubs, I cannot see myself turning off the Japanese voice acting. No. It's them now.
Though I might see what the English sounds like, I probably won't stick with
I won't. I don't even care.
Having heard a couple of the English karaoke clips, I definitely don't know if I like it.
Yeah.
We could play the PS2 version of Yakuza 1, so Goro Majima sounds like Mark Hamill.
The Joker, baby.
If only he had any direction, because that's such a great casting.
Yeah. All right. Let's throw the category down to another smaller one, because we're getting to the big boys, so it's kind of hard not to just pick off the small ones now for me. What did you guys think was the best multiplayer experience? I have one...
This is a weird one, because I think that we're going different ways on this one.
I have one written down. I question it, but I think I'm going to stick with it because, like, I could easily give this to Phasmophobia because it was just as fun playing with the boys as it was last year. But another game I had a ton of fun playing with the boys, and especially bringing Mikolov, I really feel like came into his own and became a big part of the show at this point during this game. Playing Terraria with you guys, Dalton hitting his pen. Like, everything was just so fun about that. Like, I really cherished the time that we all got together and played that. Like, Nicola, thanks for being on that one, dude, because that was so much fun for me.
I felt bad for not having Terraria on here as many times as I could have now, because, like, the more we're reminiscing about that episode, the more fun I remember having. It's just, it wasn't as fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And I guess, on the other hand, like I literally just said earlier, if it weren't for the fact that Nate was going to New York, I would be like, hey, Nate, this weekend you want to play some No Man's Sky? Because damn do I want to play some No Man's Sky with you lads right now. So that is my pick.
I somehow did not have this category written down, but it's an easy answer for me, and it's No Man's Sky. So listeners who are listening, specifically, it's probably going to end up being like Dane or Brian, whoever gets to it first. I want to know who gets the most awards in this. I think it's going to be No Man's Sky.
It's up there for sure.
And I'm going to have to tweet this episode and tag Sean Murray and see if he'll retweet it, because sometimes he retweets shit like that, and that'd be cool. But yeah. No Man's Sky, dude, I just had such a good time playing with you.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said,
that was my second choice. And that Phasmophobia. Like, every time we did a multiplayer, it was some of the best times I had playing games for the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For real.
All right, Dalton, pick a cat, my dude.
Oh, man. All right. What do you think had the best writing?
I have a lot written down for writing, so if you guys want to come to me last, I understand that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I picked this game myself, because we played a lot of games with really good stories. This one didn't have the biggest story, but I felt like all the characters you met, everything that was said about it in like the encyclopedias that you got to look through, everything was written very purposefully, and I feel like was really well done. Like, I'll never forget meeting the fishmonger and talking to him, and then him wanting the aberration fish and everything. Like, Dredge is just so well written for such a little game. Like, I love the writing in Dredge so much.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it was a good satiation for Tales of Herring Lake, which will probably never come out.
I'm sad, but unfortunately it now lives in the Silk Song zone, where I'll believe it when I see
it. Yeah, sadly.
But you don't.
So best writing, because the quests were so good, and the amount of, and I meant to bring this up during the biggest surprise one, the amount of factions and different storylines that you can do, and you can't do them all in one playthrough, because if you try to join the Mages Guild but you're in the Fighters Guild, they're going to be like, you're a fighter, why would we want you here? It's not like Skyrim where you can go and do everything. Yep. you had to plan your character build, because if you tried to be a jack of all trades, there are things that are going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
But every quest felt like it had some meaning, even if it was your first quest in the Fighters Guild, go kill the rats at this lady's house, where you go in there and talk to her, and it's because they're chewing up her pillows, and you go up there and this lady's got a fuckload of pillows. It's like, lady, why you got so many pillows? And there's just so many things about it that are fucking hilarious, and it's like that's what you get when it's a hand curated world. Mm-hmm. They didn't say that Morrowind was going to be massive. No, it's a small island full of a lot, and all of it is written very, very well, and I appreciate that. So my best writing award is going to the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
All right, I have 3 awards in this category.
Do it.
I have best writing, I have honorable mention, and I have reverse dishonorable mention.
Okay.
So my best writing award is going to A Short Hike. I just really loved the really casual text message or instant messenger way all the characters talked. Like, it felt like very real, very casual, and all the characters themselves were just so charming and delightful to meet. Like, it was a very small world that you got just a little glimpse into, but it felt like everything had lives of its own, you know?
Specifically the Fisher guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that whole section where he's like, your character's like, so what do we do? Do we have to press a button? Dude's like, nope. And that's it. He's just like,
you're doing it.
Nope, we're just sitting here. That's it.
You're fishing.
It's
you're doing it. I managed to fall into the river the first time, and he had some pretty good comments for Claire about that, too.
Man, next year we might need to add best fishing mini game.
Honestly.
Yeah.
My honorable mention is the Talos Principle, in large part because it's the rare game that quotes a bunch of mythology and philosophy and actually understands what it means instead of just using it as shallow window dressing for a stupid plot, you know? Like, they clearly understood the philosophy and worked it into the game's actual motifs. It's not just, and then Socrates said this.
Yeah.
By the way, go kill the Serpent Lord.
Yeah.
And then my reverse dishonorable mention, so it's an honorable mention with a backhand, essentially, goes to the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Because it had so much better, thorough writing than Skyrim or, obviously, Starfield, that it makes me wonder what the hell happened at Bethesda. Like, the amount that the writing was leaps and bounds above Skyrim, which was the first Elder Scrolls game I played thoroughly, like, I couldn't understand how these were the same games. Yeah. And so the award goes to Morrowind at the expense of really just shitting on Skyrim, Starfield, and I haven't seen Oblivion yet. I have high hopes. I have a feeling it's going to be a midway point between the two in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it is. I was going to say Oblivion is where you can see the ideas that became what Skyrim is, but you can still see the remnants of Morrowind in it as well, more so than you can in the newer games. Oblivion is this nice sweet spot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I still intend to go back into Morrowind. There's clearly a lot there for me.
Willie's turn to pick a category.
Let's just get the buddies together. If you got to have your best writing, you got to have the counterpart, which is the best story. So I'll go first because I just want to echo something we just said a minute ago. I loved the way that Dredge had a short, small story that it told mainly through vibes and innuendo without telling you too much. You piece together exactly what's going on your own. It doesn't overplay its hand. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And yet it has a very big scope to it in a very small world. And I just really loved that.
I can feel that for sure. So for me, I enjoyed the story as I played through it and thought it was super great. I really, really loved living vicariously through Dane and hearing about his further adventures into the second, third, fourth, however many playthroughs this game has to actually get to the end. Because I only did 2B's story, but 2B's story was fantastic. But the rest of it sounded freaking incredible from Dane's perspective. Like, I got to give best story to Nier Automata.
Yeah. That completely makes sense. It might have the most story.
Got more story than Starfield. What?
Best story for me, gotta be a surprise to absolutely nobody for how bad I was itching after the ending of the first game to see what happens in the second game, and then to see that play out the way it did. And even though Nate saw it coming, there's something that happens in that game that made me go, what the fuck? So I am giving it to Trails in the Sky, the second chapter.
I only wish I could ask you to elaborate on that, but unfortunately, I still haven't even listened to those episodes because I want to really experience it.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving away any more than that. Nate knows what I'm
talking
about.
I do.
That's what counts.
All right, 4 categories remain. I'm picking another little baby. Which game did you find the most addictive? For me, I could not stop playing this game. I mentioned this earlier when I announced it as my number 3 pick. I did not want to stop. I just kept playing. I put more time into this than any other game this year. No Man's Sky was super freaking addictive. That game, amazing. Count it.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on that. My most addictive is also No Man's Sky because of the amount of hours that we all sank into it.
It's an absolute buckets pick, and I wish I could make it 3, but this game didn't get enough places for me to give it an award, and I really had to give it to it for this. I couldn't tell you why I got so into Middle-earth Shadow.
You did.
But I'll be damned if I didn't get really close to 100%.
You really did.
Like, I got sucked into it. Did all kinds of side quests. I did all the Weapon Legend side quests. Like, I was loving that shit. It was so much more immersive and addictive.
Yeah, that's so wild, because for a game that I kind of felt, honestly, was kind of like, worst Batman in Arkham Asylum, you really just fell hard into it. And I was thrilled for that for you, but I just didn't have that same experience, but I'm glad that you did.
There was just a moment where it really caught on for me, and suddenly I really cared about getting this guy's story done.
Yeah, he's a likable character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So now I have 4 left. After that, unless we've already done one and I forgot to delete it. Have we done?
No,
most
I think Nate might be referring to one that we have after the show.
Okay.
Or whatever.
I don't know.
Right.
Just pick your category, Dalton. Let's go.
Keep on going. If we have an extra category, then that's weird. But okay.
Okay.
I'll come up with something.
Song of the year with vocals.
Standing here, I realize you're just like me, trying to make history. It has to be this way for Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. That song, like, I have listened to that song more than I've listened to some songs from not video games because I love it so much. I found so many covers of it on YouTube, of metal covers. My favorite metal YouTubers covering it. Like, I absolutely adore that song, and the fact that it's associated with Senator Armstrong and all that, there's just so much for me to love. I know I'm not even talking real words that make sense right now. That's how much I fucking love that song.
See, my problem is I didn't get to the Senator Armstrong fight, so I don't have that association with that song. But I do have the associations when Rules of Nature first started playing, and my god, that is it for me. That is the most bombastic, banging boss fight song I've heard in a long damn time.
Man, I love that y'all both picked some metal-ass songs. And had we executed the plan that we had for last year, this would have been a much fucking harder choice.
It would have, yeah.
I know exactly where you're at because it would have been harder for me too. I could think of several.
I tried to do that game through the course of the year, and I'm only a quarter of the way through it, Dalton.
Yeah, I know. It's a long-ass game. Persona 5 is a long-ass game, but there are a lot of songs from that I would have chosen.
Dude.
But I'm going to keep my answer simple and clean. And make it simple and clean from Kingdom Hearts. And it's funny because the only thing that I can remember from that song is the part where she's like, please, oh baby. And it's that's all I can remember right now for some reason. But I know that I love that song, and it always makes me smile when I hear it when I play through Kingdom Hearts. So I'm going to give it to simple and clean.
Fair.
This was the category that going into this episode for months away, I knew this was going to be what we would say. It had to be this way. The rules of nature are simple and clean.
All right, well, you got your pick.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap the music categories up with the soundtrack of the year.
It still has to be this way. It's Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I don't have to say anything else about it.
That's a top 3 one for me as well. No question.
I also gave this the Metal Gear Rising.
This is going to be the weirdest one I have, I think. Just because you guys are going to be like, what? And then you're going to think about it months later and be like, oh, he was right. Terraria.
It does have a good soundtrack. I'll give you that.
I don't remember a single song from it.
It's so different. Yeah, it's very... It's not even ambient so much as it's not straightforward melodic, but it's atmospheric. It's really weird, but it's really cool. If you just listen to the soundtrack on YouTube, you'll be like, oh yeah, this song, I remember feeling this and playing that. And it's just, there's a lot, it's very much vibes.
Yeah, it's vibes for sure. All right, so that leaves...
I'm not trying to be contrary on this episode, I promise, but I've got... I felt like that.
So that leaves one more little category before we do the game of the year. But we have one category after this one before Game of the Year. It'll make sense. The next category is, which game did you think was the most fun?
Did we already do most relaxing?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let me delete that. Okay, so most fun. Okay. I'm just going to, I'll round this off. The most fun game was No Man's Sky to me. Playing that with you guys and everything. I'm going to hand them another fucking award. Here you go. Hope you got room in your arm. It was just so much. It's just a blast playing with you guys. You know? I believe we had Jeff on for that episode, but I don't think we ever got to actually play with Jeff, which was a bummer. But me and him been playing that game since release.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, it's all of the countless hours, and again, all the shit that you can do now. It's a blast.
Yeah. Right. So for me, similar story. It's because of the multiplayer that I found this to be the most fun. It's also going to Terraria for me because I just had such a blast playing that with the boys.
I did not give this one to a multiplayer game. I would say the single most fun thing, and this is almost another apology award. This is, you barely missed my top 3, and you deserve more than I gave you this year. But when I was really cooking in Metal Gear Rising and getting the Zandatsus on and chopping things up, and especially seeing the boss fatalities and stuff, you could not wipe the grin off my face. That is the most just pure fun I've had in a game in a long time.
Hell yeah, man. All right. And before we move in and tell you our game of the year, before that, I want to know the best game you played not for the show.
Well, I've got a weird one, because I technically played it for the show, but wasn't asked to. But I really wanted to make sure I went into Duke Nukem Forever, giving it the most fair shake I could, including appreciating any references it made to the previous games and all that. So before we did it, for the first time ever, I played through all of Duke Nukem 3D Atomic Edition, of the 4-episode version. And it's now one of my top 5 favorite FPS games of all time. I genuinely, really, truly loved it. It was a blast. And I played it on easy. Like, I still need to go back through and play it on every other difficulty level. It's great. It really is awesome.
Hell yeah. So for me, I played a few games not for the show, and it'd be really easy to give it to one of the big 3 Nintendo games. Well, not all Nintendo, but the ones I played on the Switch that really do stick with me. Like, I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I really enjoyed Mario Wonder. And I had a blast with Sonic Superstars. But one game that I played and I just really could not get enough of, and I 100% achievemented this on Steam because I had such a blast playing it. Played it with Willie some. I'm going to give this to Super Blood Hockey. I adore that game. It's so much fun. Like, I can't really go back to it too much now because I've kind of figured it out and I'm too good at it. I keep playing against the computer. I'm just being real on that. But like the time I spent with it, I have no regrets and I love that game.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude.
Man, best game I played not for this. So let me actually lean into the microphone. Jesus. I have a bunch for this one, and it's hard to narrow them down. I got some shout-outs, though, and I know what my number one is. But the first thing I want to say for this category was that I played and rolled credits for the Cow thing for it, but Dynasty Warriors 9. If you go on Steam and look at reviews for Dynasty Warriors 9, they are like mostly to overwhelmingly negative. I don't get it. It's a fantastic fucking game. It's just as good as I remember it being when I played it on PS4. It's just open world Dynasty Warriors. And people are like, well, yeah, but it's open and it's a bunch of empty shit. I'm like, dude, it's like China in 1600. What the fuck do you expect to see out there? Like, there's a lot of trees and some animals and stuff you can kill. Like, that's pretty much what was going on in those areas of wilderness China in 710. So
it was around 200 AD.
Yeah, just fucking way back then, dude. You know what I mean? So it's a fun fucking game. There's a lot of characters. It's a good time. Also, shout out to Warriors Orochi 4 for having like 170 playable characters. That's pretty cool. But the best games that I played, not for the show, I could easily give this to Mountain Blade 2 Banner.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting to hear.
I could easily give this to Baldur's Gate 3.
Also surprising that didn't come up yet.
I could easily give it to WWE 2K23, and I could easily give it to Pro Wrestling Simulator. All for very, very valid reasons. But I'm going to give it to an indie game that I played. I'm going to give it to this RPG that I decided to play by a little development team called Spiderweb Software. And it was like, let me check this out, because I watched the guy who runs that, Jeff Fogel, do some interviews and things on YouTube, and I really found him to be a charming guy. Started playing the game, reminded me a lot of old school Baldur's Gate. So where it lacks in the visuals and like things going on department, it really makes up for in the writing. and things like that. The game's got a really good story to it. And the fact that there are a bunch of games in the series, and I can't wait to get to them all and check them out, especially since they do the little remasters here and there, I'm giving this to Avernum, Escape from the Pit.
Nice.
Which is the remaster. Cool. So, quick little history. Avernum originally came out in the 90s. It was called Exile.
Oh, okay.
Exile Escape from the Pit I believe was the name of the game. Then they remastered it like 10 years later and called it Avernum. Or Avernum, I don't know how they pronounce it, doesn't matter. And then 2012 or 13 or so, somewhere around in there, they remastered it again with Avernum Escape from the Pit, and it's the most updated version of it. And it's just, man, it's really good. It's really good. It's kind of lost things over the years. Like Exile had more things in it. He's kind of streamlined it a little, but I'm hella enjoying it. And if anybody out there is like, oh yeah, I like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and those style of old computer turn-based RPGs, give it a shot. They're only like $20 when they're not on sale. So I say check out Spiderwebsoft, and they got all kinds of different games, but I particularly am going to give it to Avernum.
All right. Sounds good, man. All right, so I guess that just leaves the big boy, the game of the year for 2023.
I'll
all
start.
right, because I'm interested.
Because, yeah, you guys, I have a pretty good idea what it's going to be, and I'm ruining a sweep for a very deserving game because I just really want to pimp out the game I still do think I enjoyed more than anything else. Like a game that immediately just jumped to my all-time favorite games of all time list. I said earlier that Duke Nukem had become my fourth favorite first-person shooter of all time. I've got to give it to my new second favorite, which is Dusk.
Hell yeah, man.
I knew that would be your choice.
Once you started talking, I had it pegged, but until then I didn't. So, yeah, that's very valid for you. For sure.
This game is now, I would rather play it than
wow.
I also don't think this is going to be a sweep, whether you would have picked that or not. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
I think I know what Dalton's is too. Mine, it shouldn't be anybody's surprise. I love this series. I've come to absolutely love the series and the characters involved in it. This game was really close to becoming my favorite in the series, but just couldn't beat Zero. It's Yakuza Kiwami 2. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. I avoided giving Yakuza too many awards this year because I knew that it was still going to be my favorite game that I played overall for the year. But yeah, it goes to Kiwami 2 for me.
So you think you know what my number one is, huh?
I believe I might.
So we played a game this year that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. But I went into it and I beat it. And then I beat it again. And then I beat its sequel. And then I played the game that came out before it. And then I went and bought the fourth game in the series. Because there was just something about roaming that desolate police station with all of these creatures roaming around and the scares and the spooks and the having to deal with Mr. X and all of that shit. My game of the year is Resident Evil 2 Remake because that game was fantastic and I did not expect
you really
to like it as much as I did.
Dude. You went so hard on it.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it took me from being somebody who was like, yeah, Resident Evil's cool, to like, no, dude, like, I fucking love the Resident Evil series. And I look forward to us playing more.
Me too.
I will play through 3 again whenever it comes up for the show, because I done beat 3 because of how much I like 2. I ended up beating 3 before we ever recorded 2.
You did. I remember that.
Like,
wow.
It was so good. And, yeah, I couldn't help but give that number 1. Like, when I was trying to decide, man, what was the best? That was the first thing that came to my brain, and I couldn't get it to come out for anything else. So it was like, I got to give it to that.
Fair, dude. All right. What a year of games, boys. So I guess that begs the question. What are some games you hope we get to play in 2024? I have a list of a few that I want to get to. Obviously, the first one that on my list is I need to play Yakuza 4. Like, it's going to happen this year. I don't think anyone's arguing that.
True.
But other than that, one of the ones that I really want to get to, and will probably be a host pick if I can time manage pretty well, I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh,
Yeah, baby.
hell yeah. That's a cool one. That has not even come up in the group chat about this before.
I would, Red Dead 2, fucking tremendous game. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I have a couple more, but I want to hear from you guys a little bit. Like, I think we can, yeah.
All right, well, I think Dalton has the most. I only actually wrote 3 games down, but I want to piggyback off what you said. I didn't write Yakuza 4 down this year. I wrote Yakuza 6 because I hope we get through enough of them that we can finally get around to that one in 2020.
Fuck it, we're going to get a Like a Dragon this year. No.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, man. You boys are being optimistic. Like, are we just giving out a few at a time? Okay, so
yeah.
I'll give 3 then, because I do have quite a chunk here. Star Ocean, the second story R. I just really want you guys to experience these visuals that I've been seeing when I load that game up. It's just fucking tremendous. And I know that
I've been curious about Star Ocean for forever. Like, I think that started in like a Sega CD.
I know that the original Star Ocean came out for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay, maybe it was.
But it was Japanese only. You could play it with a fan translation.
I thought we got a Sega CD release, but I could be thinking of a sequel or a different game.
Yeah, are you thinking of Phantasy Star maybe?
No, I know the difference between those two.
Okay. So yeah, Star Ocean, the second story R, I think would be fun. Harvestella, which is a RPG / farming simulator type game for that was made by Square Enix.
Okay.
I've heard, from what I've played of it, it's fantastic. And then if you ask Brian in our community, I pointed him in that game's direction, and he got way further in it than me, and he loved it. Okay. So I would like to check that out for the show. And the other one to round out my list here before you guys give some more of yours, The Witcher 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another big home run that I think. Yeah. I feel like just jumping right into that 3. I think Nate
I've played like the first hour of 3 on mouse and keyboard. Okay. I'm looking forward to playing that with a controller full bore.
Okay.
And I'm not afraid to throw you guys into that game first, because that was my first experience with the series, and it was totally fine. It was one of the best games I've ever played. So like, The Witcher 3 is definitely up there.
Watch me do something idiotic, like insist on reading all the books before I play the game, like what I did with Duke Nukem Forever.
It's a pretty big boy, but it's definitely worth it for sure.
Well, even if we don't finish, I feel like we could definitely get enough into it in 2 weeks to figure out
how we feel.
A good score.
Right. Yeah. So I have a few more. I'll do 2 more so we can roll back to me at the end a little bit, or however we're doing this, whatever. Dane, I need you to pick this for me. Dane, you're going to be on this episode. Dane, which Devil May Cry game do I want to play this year?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, character action's back on the menu.
I can't live without it. And then also Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Oh, nice! Yes.
That's another good choice, my good sir.
Good answers. Well,
good answer.
I only have two written down, and they're incredibly obvious because you guys know, like, this is kind of stupid shit I've been talking about all the time. We played Doom 2. You guys eventually will have to play Ultimate Doom.
Yeah.
Like, right? Eventually got to play Ultimate Doom. And I also want to get around to Duke Nukem 3D with you guys as well. Because Dalton ended up getting us that after... He got us the 20th Anniversary Edition, which has all 5 episodes, after we did the Duke 4 episode. So, looking forward to having the boys see Duke when he was good. Maybe his best.
Hail to the king.
How many more do you have that you wanted to touch, Dalton?
I can just bust through some of them real quick, because there's a few, and then I'll just leave the 2 big ones for the last. Trails in the Third.
Yeah.
That's a given. Sea of Stars.
Yep.
I think that would be a fantastic game. Black Desert.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I want you guys to see that game.
I feel like that's been one that's been always on your back burner, kind of like Ultimate Doom has been for me, where it's like, I always want to share it with the boys, but I got another one I want to do right now.
Yeah. Code Vein.
Okay, similarly.
Give Nate his first taste of the Souls-likes with
a very anime character generator.
God of War.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Serious Sam. Any of the ones we haven't played.
We've only played first and second Encounter. We got a lot more to go.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Probably 10. We'll start with 10 or something. Cool. And then I have 2 more, but I'm going to save those.
Yeah.
So, Nate, if you want.
Yeah, the ones that I have left, I have 2 more as well. Kind of piggybacking off of Willie, I do pretty much want to play Doom Eternal this year.
Doom Eternal,
Yeah.
okay. That would also... Yeah, if I end up saying Ultimate Doom and you're like, what about Eternal? I'll probably say, actually, what about Eternal?
And then, Dalton, you kind of mentioned me getting into my first Souls-like. I have Dark Souls Remastered on my list.
Yeah, all right.
Awesome.
I'm also cool with that.
I didn't say Elden Ring because I feel like we just missed the boat on that being the hot one, but I've also heard that's a really good first Souls-like, and it would be a great one for me, the first one that I actually complete. So, consider that on my pile as well. So we all have a Souls-like that we want to get through. I think it's funny calling the first Dark Souls a Souls-like. It's calling Metroid a Metroidvania.
So, in the vein of
My
character...
favorite roguelike is Rogue.
In the vein of character action, but it is an RPG technically. I would love to play this and have Mikolov on. Ease 8. Lacrimosa of Dana.
Nice.
You told us that the Ease series doesn't really require you to... It's not sequential, and you can jump in wherever, right?
They're told the games are supposed to be like the tales of a great adventurer, which is Adol. So it's like in this season of Dragon Ball Z, like that kind of vibe. Ease 8's just really good. The music's really good. I first played it on Switch, so I was...
That's Neon Falcom, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I already trust the music's going to be good.
Dude, yeah, Ease is up there with Trails. Like, it's so fucking good. And the gameplay's fun. The characters are enjoyable. It's a very fun game. The other one that I want to get to is Nexum on Extinction.
Yep. I'm down for that, for sure.
Okay.
I really want to play that.
A lot of fire on our list, teams.
Good list. Yeah. We'll see if we actually play more than 5 of the games we mentioned tonight.
Yeah, right.
5 would be a pretty good number. I would be happy with even 5. Some good sounding games.
All right. That all sounds great. Y'all want to jump into our big bag of questions from our beautiful listeners?
Does anyone need a quick break before doing that?
No, because I want to keep rolling to get through this close to midnight as I can.
Okay, go as quick as... Oh, in that case, just start. I need to do it because I've been storming for like 5 minutes.
So I will say, I am so torn about my host pick that I need to choose relatively soon.
Yeah.
I'm like just bouncing it around in my head.
Are we picking your host pick at the end of this episode, aren't we? Oh, snap. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I'm torn between like 3 games, but I'll figure it out. Figured it out. I specifically did not choose like a big sprawling open world RPG.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am thinking about an RPG as one of them, but again, it's not a hefty one in any sense. But yeah, I'm torn.
He's torn.
I'm specifically not picking one game because I'm pretty sure it's going to be your host pick. So I was like, I'll just let Nate do that.
Okay.
I'll choose something else.
Sounds good, man. I don't even know what my next host pick's going to be. I kind of forgotten where we are in the order of things.
I think it goes me, you, Willie. Me, you, Willie, fan pick.
Okay.
And then it rolls through. I think.
All right, well, I think we have it somewhere written down. We can look at it just to make sure. But all right, let's roll into these questions. Our first one comes from the grumpy one himself, Mr. Jeff. Now that another year of Steam Machine have passed, what sort of changes do you plan for yourselves? None. I'm perfect. Stop trying to make me change for you, Jeff. I mean, no, I'm hitting the gym more this year and just trying to be a badass at my job. Those are my only real 2024 goals, and just keep doing this podcast the best I can, which is kind of mediocre, but we're going to keep doing it.
That's pretty similar to Nate. I just watch my wealth and my health, try to get back on, good income plans, start, taking care of myself a little bit better, and, mental, physical, I basically just exercise, just keep on keeping my appointments,
I think I'm just going to never think about whether an episode's going to pull in listeners or not again.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fooled me twice, shame on me. Fooled myself with Starfield. So, like, yeah, I'm just like,
play what we want.
Fuck it.
But you would have wanted to play Starfield anyway, so you can't be too mad about that. You can be too mad about how it turned out, but not for picking it for the show.
Yeah.
I think it could have been worse if you got it, played it without us, started convincing yourself you liked it, wanted to share it with us, and then we hated it.
Fair enough.
All right. Our next one comes in from Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself. How many Yakuza games do you think you'll play through in 2024? Realistically, I think it's going to be 3. Realistically, it's going to be 2, but I have a feeling that if we get through 5, we're going to want to get into 6. Like, I would say 2, but I feel like once we play 5, it's going to be like champing at the bit to play 6 is really what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. The answer is almost definitely going to be 1 or 3. I don't think we finish 5 and then don't roll into 6 very soon afterward.
Yeah, I'm gonna go right in the middle. I think we're gonna play 2. Because I think that other things are going to pop up and it's going to get towards the end of the year and we're going to be like, oh, fuck, Yakuza 5.
I will say it did take us a full year to get from Yakuza Kiwami to Yakuza Kiwami 2.
But then we did Yakuza 3 the next
we're silly. Our next one comes in from Jeff. Will we get Borderlands 2 or Red Dead Redemption 2 this year? Well, as we just heard the games that I hope to get to in 2024. I didn't put Borderlands 2 down, but I would really like to get that on the list as well, especially if we can get... I don't think Jeff was on an episode in 2023. He needs to be on that for 2024.
Yeah, he was. He was on No Man's Sky.
Oh, you're right. I'm just dumb. Okay, yeah. But yeah.
Well, Jeff, Nate didn't notice you.
Yeah, Senpai didn't notice you, Jeff.
Ask better questions.
Just kidding. Yeah, but no, if we get to Borderlands 2, you're automatically invited to that one. But RDR2, I really do want to play this year.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Our next one is Dane. How many times will I con my way onto the show before being banned? I guess that depends on...
The answer, my friend, is blow it out your ass.
And I guess that depends on how much of an asshole you decide to be to me about the Devil May Cry game we're going to play.
True.
Like, here you go, Nate. Here's DMC.
Oh, that's the bad one.
All right.
The one no one likes.
This next one is from Adam. Is there a game that you thought is exactly your jam but just could not get into?
I started on a medieval shortly after I beat Dusk. It's kind of like what if Heretic had kind of a modern remake, and I just realized that I don't find magic weapons as satisfying as like guns and first-person shooters. It's hard to tell how much a glowy orb is hurting people. Yeah,
mine is actually interesting because that's the one I played first from the developer, and Willie really got into this game. Like I fell in love with Valfaris, which was made by the same developer, but I could not really get into Slain Back from Hell as much, whereas Willie beat that game, and I beat Valfaris. So, like, I really thought Slain would be my jam, but I've really preferred Valfaris.
Well, Slain was a much simpler game. It was basically walk forward and parry for the most part, whereas Valfaris is kind of a mantra, right? You got one, Dane? Or don't got my DA Nins guy next time. Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're high.
I mean, easy answer for me is Starfield.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's very valid.
Meh.
Yeah. All right. This next one is from Jeff. Out of all the older games you've played for the show, which one deserves a more modern remaster? Give me Yakuza Kiwami 3.
The only problem is now that we've just played Yakuza 3, it feels like it wouldn't be wanting to go right back into Kiwami.
Yeah, but I can play it in like 5 years from now.
That's a good idea, though. Yeah, that's for sure. It'll be worth getting to eventually. Did it say this year or just ever?
No, ever.
All the older games. I think you guys played a game for the show that it was a really pretty game. In fact, I don't really have any problem with the game being old. I think it's not even that old. It's only like 7 or 10 years old or whatever. What I would really like is just if they released more content for it and maybe put a different character in the main spot. But I just wish that one of these days they would release some kind of expansion for Hollow Knight. Silksong is never coming out, jokes.
I hate my life.
I'm not kidding. The other day I was watching a show and they were talking about their plans for near soon episodes. And it was 5 years old episode. And they said, and we got something planned for when Silksong comes out soon.
Sad.
Jesus. This is an easy answer for me. Something that I've been harping on since the Final Fantasy VII remakes came out.
Oh, yes, of course.
Give me a more fleshed out Final Fantasy VIII.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, there's so much more meat on that bone, in my opinion, compared to 7. But that's just me.
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm just a small town bird lawyer.
All right, this next one's from Dane. What dumpster fire of a game do you intend to inflict on one or more of your co-hosts this year, just for poops and giggles? So I've thought about making this my host pick multiple times, and I know both of them are going to hate it, and I'll probably still like it because I'm a simp for Sonic, but I've thought about making Sonic Lost World one of my picks for quite a while now.
I don't even know what
I'm glad you decided that wouldn't be your first Sonic pick, at least. I think that's the only reason you had us do Sonic Generations, so we'd have a Sonic game we could say nice things about before you did that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's actually not a dumpster fire. I think it's a good game. I think it just will really piss them off because it's a puzzle game that just, it's really weird and squirmy and you don't really understand what you're doing for the most part. There's a game called Snakebird that I really think is cute and fun and will absolutely grind their teeth.
I just got that on Epic for free.
Yep.
That was of recent Epic, and that's what made me think about Snakebird again. I haven't thought about the game in several years.
I don't think I would actually do this to you guys, but I have interest in playing this game because I've heard it's really fucked up. And you guys know me and fucked up media. I'm like, well, let's see how fucked up this actually is. It's a game called...
I don't want to play Postal for you.
No, we've already done Postal 2. I'm not going to put you guys through Postal.
Oh, fair enough.
There's a game called Saya no Uta.
Ah.
The Song of Saya. And it is a visual novel that deals with some fucked up shit. I don't know what, though. I've never really watched spoilers about it. I just know it's got some gruesome imagery and things. And yeah, I think that would be fun to hear you guys, because
I think you've suggested that game, and I've specifically said that I'm not sure about doing a main episode about it.
Oh, it would be 100% a Patreon-only episode.
Yeah.
You would need to pay to listen to us talk about that game, because there's some shit that I'm just not going to say for public consumption about things that happen in that game. So
you need to pay me to play it, too.
Yeah, that's...
All right, our next...
And that wasn't a suggestion for a bribe. Don't give us $20 and say go play it, because that isn't how this show works.
We've heard other shows do things like that, and they stopped doing that very quickly. Shout out to Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. The E and is silent. Our next question comes from Dane. Follow-up. If you were to do an Oops, All Guest Hosts episode where you set up a trio of friends of the show to suffer on your behalf, what game would it be? Feel free to name which poor bastards you would punish. I'm sure I know at least one guy on that shit list. I already have my trio that I'm not sure about the game off the top of my head, but I'm coming up with one. But the three people that are the poor bastards are Dane, Jeff, and Mikolov.
Yeah, that is definitely like the ideal trio, I think.
Those are also my three, yeah, that I would put through.
Adam, we like you too much. Mikolov, it's not that we don't like you; it's that you're so nice that your suffering would be fun.
That's fair.
And I would love to hear those three talk about Sayonara.
You know what? I'm just gonna make them play Dragon, a game about a dragon.
Yes.
I'm taking this in a completely different direction. I'm going to need you guys to just... let's see, what would be the best? I'm going to need you guys to play I Want to Be the Guy for me.
I kind of want to play that.
What is that?
It's basically... It controls kind of like Mega Man. It's a half-joke game that's a really, really, really hard game that just kills you with hilariously stupid traps all the time. Like, if you've ever played like a Kaizo Mario hack or something, it's heavily inspired by those. But it also has a lot of like funny little stupid Nintendo game jokes throughout.
Okay.
All right.
Like, for instance, there's like a room where there's like the old man from Zelda and there's a sword on the screen that says like, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. And if you jump into the sword, you just explode and it says, you jumped into a sword, you idiot.
That's tremendous.
All right. Did you finish Dalton? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So our next question is from Jeff. Do you plan on any revisits from the Ryan time to allow Nate and Willie to play? I mean, we've done that. Like, that was Talos' principle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about doing it for Psychonauts as well.
Yeah. I also think now that we all got it free from Epic, I think the Outer Worlds would be fun to go back.
Yeah, I remember listening to the episode on that one and thought it sounded
that was a good
really
episode.
fun.
Yeah, that was a very interesting. I love how you guys played that game in a completely different way from each other, and I feel like we'd all do different things too. So
yeah, it's like Fallout in space, but good.
Yeah.
Oh, take that star. We are really giving
it deserves it.
You didn't even pick it as your worst game of the year.
That's because Tomb Raider existed. Yeah. So our next question.
Tomb Raider made it personal.
Our next question comes from Jeff. I asked this on YabSquad, so I'll ask you boys. Kevin Smith once said, "There's nothing in the world better than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." Do you agree with that statement? No. Not even close. I can name like 50 things better, but just here's one. Ice cream. Get out of here with your peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay.
I would honestly rather have peanut butter and honey or peanut butter and banana.
Counter. Peanut butter and jelly doesn't give me the shits.
Well, that's a you thing.
I do like ice cream. I do like ice cream, but I'm lactose intolerant, so it gives me the shits. When I'm baked...
We don't care about your bigotry. That doesn't make your opinion valid.
When I am like baked and I go into the kitchen and I got some nice, soft white bread.
Wow.
And I can throw some...
I'm not just lactose intolerant.
No. Hear me out. You ever eaten a fucking peanut butter and jelly on pumpernickel? No.
No, you need it to be on like Wonder Bread. It really is.
It is
a slightly sweet bread.
It is a sandwich designed for white bread. Yeah, it's like, yeah. Just slide you some pizza. I also love some peanut butter and honey. So like, I will just clarify it to a peanut butter sandwich with whatever you would like to put with the peanut butter. And a nice cold glass of milk. I drink Lactaid. That's just me. But, you know.
Oh, so you can do the Lactaid for the milk, but not the ice cream.
Yeah, I can't find Lactaid ice cream around here for shit, dog. I live in the sticks of nowhere.
But I will go ahead and say, I always said peanut butter products, so I'll just say it's not even my favorite peanut thing. Like, I'd rather eat pad thai any day.
Just put me a...
I'll agree with Kevin Smith, Jeff. Yeah, I love a good peanut butter jelly.
Well, I'm glad it brought up an actual discussion. I thought that was going to be 3 easy no's, so I'm glad at least someone had a good appreciation. I'm not saying I don't like a peanut butter
It's
sandwich.
just not anywhere near the best thing I could have. Our next question comes from Master Loot. What's your perfect stay-at-home day?
Well, first I'll make a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Honestly, man, for a perfect stay-at-home day, it's just vegging out, like eating whatever I feel like, watching some TV and playing some video games. Like, doesn't need to be much bigger than that. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's honestly me. If it's specifically a stay-at-home day, that's like, it's different from a vacation where you gotta do stuff. I want to do nice stuff.
Today I swear I'm not doing anything.
It's gonna pick up in the recording, but not on Discord.
Did you burp?
No, I did the whistle.
Oh.
You're right, but Discord killed it. Nice.
All right, our next question from Jeff. What's a game you've played dozens of times, but still have not beaten?
That end guy of chess is real hard.
I don't know that I have a really good answer for this, because usually if a game I like it that much that I play it that many times, I will have beaten it. So I don't think I have a real answer for this question, Jeff. I apologize.
I do, actually. You guys noticed that RetroArch was running overnight for me, right? It's because I'm trying to beat the NES version of Adventure Island for the first time.
Hey.
I've beaten Wonder Boy for the Sega Master System, which is basically the same game, but there's a jump that's really tricky towards the end that I can't seem to land on the NES version. And so I ran out of reflexes last night, paused the game, and went to bed.
Well, quickly, my perfect stay-at-home day involves a bag of Doritos, a good video game, and something good to watch. Typically, a documentary on YouTube or something.
That sounds good.
A game that I've played dozens of times and I still haven't beaten. Man, I could choose a lot. I'm gonna go with Oblivion, though. I have never rolled credits on that. I always just go explore the world.
Oh yeah, because you just beat freaking Final Fantasy VIII for the first time ever for the show. Like when you were recording with Ryan, you have trouble beating games you like.
That's right. You used to be a good old second disc Dalton.
Yep. Yes, sir. That's me. Old two disc D.
All right.
2D.
Next one from Jeff. Out of all the pets you've been given in video games, which is your favorite? Pets, not mounts. And yes, that pet can be a companion. And I'm assuming I can't just say a Pokemon because that's too easy as well.
And many Pokemon are mounts.
Shouldn't mount your Pokemon. That's kind of illegal in some states.
Especially Jinx. I know it's tempting.
It's okay. It's more okay if it's a Lapras than if it's a Pidgeot.
Yes. Oh, man.
It's like you can ride the Panita, but not the other way around.
You can prick your finger. Don't finger your friend.
Right.
So what's the other one? You can pick your friends. You can pick your nose. Don't pick your friend's nose. Man, the pet.
That's a hard one because, like, how many games do you actually get pets in? I know, like, there's dog meat and things like that, but
I remember getting weirdly attached to the dog in the first Harvest Moon, actually, for the Super Nintendo.
My favorite pet is Daisy from Doom.
Was very tempted to say that. I mean, I think if we play Doom Eternal, we might get a little more of that too.
Or Isabel from Doom Eternal.
It counts. Morgana.
Okay. Yeah, Morgana's good.
Morgana's a fucking cat.
Yeah.
I think I would go ahead and count like Salem or Luna and Artemis as being pets, essentially, even if they're more advisors than pets.
Yeah.
They're still cats.
I feel that. All right. That's a hard question, Jeff.
And like when he said not a mount, I was like, damn, because I was gonna say Roach from The Witcher, because Roach is a good horse.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was thinking Epina really hard too, which is a similar the good horse.
Or Agro. But yeah.
Agro from Shadow of the Colossus. Red Hair from Dynasty Warriors.
Yes. The fastest.
All right.
The fastest horse in all of China, dude.
All right. Next one is from Kana. You have an Avatar-sized budget to adapt one video game into a movie. What game are you adapting? And I'm laughing, but I think this would be a hilarious movie. I want the big budget Among Us movie.
Oh my god. I don't know what you even think that would look like. There's so many ways you could go.
I know. Dude, like, here's the thing. It could be anything from, like, a horror movie, which would be the worst option, or a Clue-like comedy.
Yes.
That's what I want.
It. You got
a Clue-like comedy from Among Us.
There hasn't been a movie like Clue in so long.
And that answer is definitely a little bit inspired by the fact that the last Tadpog episode was about the Clue game for the SNES, and they talked about the movie. But, like, just imagine Clue Among Us. That'd be so freaking stupid and fun.
Can Tim Curry still be in it?
He's the imposter.
He is obviously the guy you think is the imposter.
Have you seen Tim Curry lately?
Don't care.
No.
Okay.
He could just be voicing
just
it.
curious.
Yeah. I think it'd be a lot of CGI because I'm having trouble imagining what those beans would look like up to scale.
If it was just dudes in spacesuits that were custom colored, but they still wear all the stupid accessories, one of them has a little dummy sticker on his face.
Can I request that one of them... So I feel like one of them needs to be Jack Black.
Nice.
I also feel like two of them would be really funny if it was The Rock and Kevin Hart, because... Like, just get the whole Jumanji crew back together. They're just doing Among Us.
There you go.
We have accidentally pitched an unironically great movie, completely ironically.
Oh man, an Avatar-sized budget.
That's so much money to waste that's so much money to waste that I want to waste it as frivolously as possible. So I want to take that incredible CGI graphics budget and use it on the greatest graphics of all time. Let's get NetHack on the screen, baby.
Oh my god. Coming this summer, did you like Dungeons and Dragons?
You better have, because you aren't going to like this otherwise.
Did you think it needed to be more random? Man, Avatar-sized budget for a video game. I'm like trying to think of something that's like deserving of it, and I'm like, I don't know.
Unironically, a Resident Evil movie that was actually good would be cool.
I mean, I could see something like a Horizon,
like
Zero Dawn or whatever, something like that, making a really good actual big budget movie, but I'm sticking with Among Us.
give me an Avatar budget, but do it as a long form series, and give me live action trails in the sky.
Oh hell yeah!
That whole arc, and then if it does good, hey, you know what? Oh, coming soon, Trails of Cold Steel.
There you go.
Like you could do it, but like, man, just I feel like give it to the people who did Game of Thrones and hope they don't get bored by the last season.
Yeah.
So that
well, at least the actual game, the plot is already written, so they don't have anything to screw up this time.
Yeah, that's true. But it just make it that political intrigue that show had wove throughout it. It would be really fun.
Also, I give a kind of ironic, jokey answer. I don't want a full Avatar budget, but if you gave me about a Sin City budget, I've never even played the game, but I bet you could get a film out of Max Payne.
100%. Max Payne would be... I think they did a Max Payne movie, but I think it was like Uwe Boll or somebody like that.
The fact that I haven't heard of it means it probably doesn't count. It probably was like Uwe Boll or some straight-to-video nonsense.
All right. Next one from Adam. Have you ever had a gaming dry spell? What pulled you back? Yeah, I barely played any video games throughout the entirety of my college career. After I graduated, I had more time to not hang out with people all the time, so I grabbed a Wii, and I've been playing video games since then.
I honestly don't think so. Like, I always at least have, like, Doom installed on my computer, so, you know, there's always a good chance I'll fire up something.
I had kind of fallen off for a long time, where I would only kind of play, like, you know, Skyrim or Fallout or something like that, and I really wasn't delving into other games and everything. And then I was dating this girl, and I went over to her house, and her roommate was playing this really flashy looking game, and I was like, oh, okay, this looks like Final Fantasy, but super duper anime. Dude, what is this game? Oh man, it's Persona 5. Oh, okay. Flash forward like 6 months later, me and that girl break up. I'm like looking on the PlayStation Store. What's on sale? Persona 5. Oh, I'll check that out. Downloaded it. You all know the story from there.
Hell yeah.
Sucked me right back in. I'm back in the JRPG mode. And
I will say, like, JRPGs in particular, like Dragon Quest XI pulled me back into those.
Fucking phenomenal game.
Yeah, I want to say the Switch really did a lot because it also helped you bridge the gap of indie games you'd missed over the last few days.
Yeah, absolutely. Switch was perfect for me, and then I got this PC and everything changed. Next question is from Adam's son.
That's such a silly question.
And Adam's son wants to know, is Joe Biden good?
Well,
good at
what? You know, everyone has some good things and bad things about him. I bet he is pretty bad at soccer, for instance. Sometimes a little below average at going downstairs.
He was much better than the alternative that we were given at the time.
Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, I'm sure he's trying his best.
He's mid.
Yeah, he's a mid president. He's
but better than the last.
He's like, he was a good vice president. I liked him as a vice president. I didn't need him to be president.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
Fair. I also don't remember how old your son is, so I really dumbed it down for the young crowd. Sorry.
All right. Our next question comes in from Team Retrogue. Why in the world did I give Starfield a 9? Can I recant my rating and give it a 6 instead?
Dude,
I think we have changed our ratings retroactively on a couple of games, but you have to actually be on the episode to do it. So you'll have to wait till the next time you're on, or it doesn't count.
Dude, the other night when we were in voice chat in the Discord, which we'll plug the Discord here in a bit. Come and join. Actually, I'll plug it right now. bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. Come join in on the fun. He was talking about, man, I can't believe I gave that game such a high rating because it's like, man, I've gotten so bored with it. There's nothing. And he just like spent like 10 minutes just shitting all over it. And I just laughing because I'm like, bro, you gave it a 9. I know. I'm like, yeah. It was funny. It was a good time.
What you needed to do is speedrun it and start out with it.
I was gonna say, if you want to retroactively change it to a 6, you're gonna need to do a few things. You're gonna need to come on the show and state it. You're gonna need to give 10 raise hail praise Dale, and you're gonna need to contact Brian and ask him to go back and change your fucking score.
Oh, right.
So those are the 3 things you need to accomplish to make that happen. So.
Yeah, and a little money under the table wouldn't hurt anything.
Yeah, of course. A Benjamin for each of us.
Oh, no, he's a teacher. I can't do that to him. Our next question comes in.
You're right. A Washington for each of us.
We all slip him a couple of pencils under the table, actually. We owe him.
Next one's also from...
Here's a spiral-bound notebook.
Next one's also from Team Retrogue. If you had a Steam Deck, I'd hammer in the morning. No, wait, sorry. If you had a Steam Deck, what would be the one game you would constantly play on it? I would be probably constantly playing Ultimate Fishing Simulator and Persona 5, honestly.
I feel like if I was playing it like not portable or handheld or whatever, I would probably get back into Vampire Survivors. So I just kind of stopped playing that game one day, never went back, and now I don't know what I was doing.
I already played this game enough, but if I could just lay in bed and play it on a little screen, it would be dangerous the amount of time I'd probably put into it. Wrestling Empire.
Yeah.
That Matt Dickey game. I bet it runs like just butter on that. Yep. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Matt Dickey got a wrestling game running on the Ouya. I'm sure the Steam Deck will be fine.
And also, probably something like Ultimate Fishing Simulator, or something that I could just like sink a lot of time into. Like I almost said Terraria, but that's not what I'm trying to think of. Stardew Valley or something like that.
Oh, that's a good one too.
All right, yeah, that's a good one for sure. Next one, I might play Dredge again. Next one comes in from Team Retrogue as well, and he asks, "Do I look like Dave the Diver?"
I don't actually know.
Google it real quick. The only thing I see that's really similar is the facial hair. You have a better physique, which I'm sure is probably what you're asking, and you have much bigger eyes.
Yeah, Dave the Diver is a heftier man than you. And yeah, you have a way sweeter goatee.
Yeah.
But he's got a really winning grin. You'd be a whole lot prettier.
You sure do have a pretty man.
Oh, my phone's going on low power.
We only have a few more questions, so just hang with it. From Jeff. As someone who's never played a Monster Hunter, which game should I start with? Or I just wait for the new game? No idea. Never played one. Wink.
So
I feel like most of the people I've heard of that started with World and enjoyed it well enough.
I say pick up World and play it when we play it.
Yup.
We're going to end up having to play it. It
looks very likely.
At the moment. That's the one poll I didn't change today. I was like, I'll leave that one up for a while.
Yeah. But, all right.
Yeah, I'd say World.
Yeah. Next one from Team Retrogue. Of all the games I played with you guys, Morrowind, Starfield, Ori, and Terraria, which one was the most fun to you? I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it. I mean, if you listen to the rest of this episode, you know I'm saying Terraria, my guy.
Yeah, I'd say the order is pretty straightforward. Terraria over Morrowind, over Ori, over Starfield.
I'm going to go with Morrowind for the only fact that I really enjoyed being on mic with you and helping you try to mod. And then, like, seeing you load into the game, and you just had these really weird pink artifacts all throughout your sky and stuff, and we just couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. It was tremendous. I loved it.
That is classic.
But you guys know me and modding stuff, so...
Yeah. As long as it's not Fallout 3, it goes well.
I know you like to tinker with your load order and have fun getting all your mods to play nice. So.
Dude, I was so satisfied when I finally got Fallout 3 to work for y'all. Like, that was like shooting some hardcore drugs straight into the vein. Just like, oh, it's running for you. Oh, yeah.
The worst part was it wasn't even really anything the fault of what you were doing. It was Steam themselves that screwed it up.
Yeah, Steam fucked it up. Steam somehow fucked up the GOG version. Like, that was the
That's the worst part, yeah. We had to fully get rid of the Steam version.
All right. And because I'm having trouble for some reason copying this over to this chat, go look in TSMP show questions real quick, fellas. Connor wants to know, perfect stick or perfect rock? Which one are you taking?
I know the meme. Perfect
yeah, that stick looks badass. The rock's cool, man, but the stick, that's just choice.
My instinct answer is always going to be perfect stick, but I do have to say that is a dang fine rock, and it's a very satisfying rock. But it's still stick, and if it didn't have a picture, I would have said stick as well. But the picture made it worth thinking about for a little bit.
I do love a nice, smooth, pretty rock, but
oh yeah, it's a wonderful rock.
I'll love more finding a good walking stick or a stick that's shaped like a gun or a sword. Because then you just start having fun with it.
those are the three main food groups of perfect sticks to me.
Yeah.
You got your gun stick, your sword stick, and your walking stick.
All right. And that...
Actually, there's also the magic wand. I do enjoy when you find like a little magic wand.
I have to make a decision.
Yeah, that wraps up the questions. Dalton has a very difficult choice to make.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even talked about where he was leaning. Had to be.
I'm leaning between like 2 or 3 games. And it's like... So there's one, we haven't done that kind of game yet. Mm-hmm. There's another one that we've kind of done a game like that. I don't think it's RPG enough to be what you were asking me not to throw at Shade.
Okay. I like where this is headed. This seems good.
But I was thoroughly entertained enough by the first game that I really, really think that you guys will enjoy it. And it's not one that you got to sink a ton of time into to get the point across. So if you don't feel like beating it or anything, do not feel like you need to.
Aha.
But
going to install it now.
We should play Nexamon Extinction.
I love it.
All right. Excellent.
I think that...
I kind of hope that was where you're going. It sounded like you were thinking about this a lot today.
Oh, I'll spoil it for you. I was going between that and Wrestling Empire.
Okay.
And Metal Gear Solid 2. But I'm like, I don't feel like playing Metal Gear 2 right now. So I'm like, but that's just one that's been on my mind. But yeah, Nexamon Extinction. I think that we're going to have a good time.
Sounds like a plan to me, man.
And just remember, when you come across the little elephant Nexamon, I don't care what they say his name is is Doofer.
Doofer.
I will say I probably will not beat this because it is 25 hours, but I will definitely play it and enjoy it.
No, yeah, you don't have to. Like it's just like get the vibe of it compared to what you know about Pokemon and stuff, and that'll kind of be the gist.
Sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it. Sounds like a real fun one.
All right, let me pull up the house cleaning stuff real quick, and then we can get on out of here.
Yep.
All right. If you would be so kind as to go and leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify, that means the world. Helps us out with the algorithm. If you want to join the Discord, which is where all the cool stuff happens, to the point that I don't even plug our social medias anymore, it is bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. That'll get you a link into the show, or into the Discord, and it'll give you an invite. You can join, come and vote on the polls. There are some new polls up. Let's run through those very quickly. Scoot this over here and scroll up. We got the fan pick game poll that's going, and like I said, the winner of that right now is Mega Dimension Neptunia Victory 2. But winning the poll that is available to vote on right now is Monster Hunter World, followed closely by Jet Set Radio and Dragon's Dogma. No love for Shadowblade Reload, no love for Septerracore, as per usual when they come on to those. So I'm going to have to just pick those games someday. The short game poll, there is a new one up. The last winner is Sega Bass Fishing, so we will be playing that at some point. Your choices for the short game poll: See No Evil, A Blind Legend. Just, it made me laugh that those were the first two that popped up. Just both things with blind and not seeing funny. Nothing. Arcana Heart 3 Love Max, the waifu fighter. Truberbrook, which I think is the point and click game, and Quiverdick's Terrible Tale for Terrible Parents to Read to Their Equally Terrible Children, which I believe is a little RPG game. It's not that
Please
long.
Change your vote from that. That looks terrible. Don't vote for that.
That one is currently leading in the poll, and I would just like to invite everyone that picked it because they thought it might be a whimsical little Lemony Snicket type thing to at least go watch the trailer on Steam and see how incredibly not funny it looks. Because, oh my god, it's cringe.
It's pretty cringe. If I had to vote for any of these personally, I'm going Arcana Heart.
Okay.
Just because it's fun. I mean, it's just it's a girl fighter, but it's a fun game.
Oh, I'm good for a fighter.
And then the retro poll, the last winner, Supernova's Arc 3D. Mm-hmm. And currently the new poll that is up, the two choices from Nate were Blades of Steel for the NES and Mario Kart 64 for the N64. The two choices from Willie were Legend of the River King for the Game Boy Color and Mario Golf Advance Tour for the Game Boy Advance. My choices were Ultimate Muscle for the GameCube and Mortal Kombat Special Forces for the PlayStation 1.
What is Special Forces again?
It is the beat 'em up game where you play as Jax.
Okay, so it's like the only one in there that isn't technically a sports game of some kind.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the purely Murica game. It's not very good. But I had it as a kid, so it's like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, I'll throw it on there. Plus, I know that
right.
Nate likes Jax.
Jax rules.
Jax is cool.
And it's literally a single-player game we play as Jax. So, but yeah, right now winning that is Legend of the River King, which does not surprise me. So yeah, do that. If you want to check out the website, which is up to date, thank you to Dane, bit.ly/the Steam Machine Podcast. Just capitalize that phonetically. If you want to join the Patreon and help me keep the lights on, that would mean the world to me. And you know, support the show, patreon.com/the Steam Machine Podcast. $1 or more a month gets you the episodes early, ad-free, and you get our little bonus stuff in the beginning, but not on this episode just because this is a very long one, so you just get this one early and ad-free. And then if you donate $10 or more, you get all of that, plus your name read on each and every single episode like these wonderful, wonderful people. Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube, Ariesoradam, shout out to his podcast Revival and Extinction, James the Steam Machine, Hall Monitor Hall, Team Retrogue, go check him out on YouTube, Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, and Chad the Mad Lad, no goddamn C in his last name, Shaffer. If you like the music for the show, NileTheNightmare.bandcamp.com, you want a shirt, tsmpproductions.threadless.com, shout out to YazPod, yet another BS podcast, shout out to the JRPG Report, your bi-weekly JRPG show with me and Mikolov.
Yay.
Give us a 5-star review.
Do it.
Please. And next time, we'll see you in 2 weeks to talk about some Nexamon Extinction. Boys, is there anything else you would like to bring up?
Gotta catch them all, dude. Nexamon.
Nexamon
are the champions.
On that note, for the Destructo Bros, my name is Dalton. We hope you enjoyed the Steamy Awards this year. We'll catch you again for them next year. And I look forward to everything that we get to this year, man. 2024 is going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
And as always, everybody, take it easy.